Welcome back. It's time for some dueling here on the B stream at the Quake World Championship here at Quakecon 2017. And we have an interesting match to start things off. We got some guy from the BYOC.
Some guy.
He's going to play Faz.
Some other guy.
What's his name? I think it was Evil.
Oh!
So Faz Evil going to be playing
B stream with the A game.
Really interesting, isn't
and
it?
the A team.
Yes,
I like
on the B stream.
On the B stream. Sorry guys. Thank you for tuning in. If you're
Everyone makes mistakes, you know. They didn't realize, you know, which where to put us. But we at least got, you know, a really sick game. So it's all good. It's all good. And it's really interesting too because I feel like this iteration of Quake dueling definitely it allows a player like Faz to really do very well. And Faz is always going to be a world-class dueler, but I think one of the edges that Evil really had was his brute force and mechanics in Quake Live Duel were absolutely out of this world.
It's how do you translate that to this game? Because as we've seen time and time again, the mechanics side of Quake Champions is not as potent. It's not as strong. You can't solely rely on that. So how has he adjusted? He's obviously qualified from the BYOC, which is an achievement. There were some tough names in there.
Well, he's sort of like the finalist of the, like, what, how many of the last few Quakecons?
Different game, but yeah, he's had to come through the hard road. But he's here. And I'm really excited because Faz, he's been doing really well, but he hasn't been tested, if that makes sense. And
the thing though is, for me, Faz's strength was always, I mean, he can have very great aim. He can have, you know, all the mechanics and so on and so forth. But it was always, like, even if you ignore some of the having great routine and understanding how to, in Quake Live, you know, run all the items and play strategically and positionally really well, it was reading his opponent that was very good. Yes. And that's one of the skill sets I think that's really important to this game, is to quickly work out how your opponent likes to play and how he likes to think, because it's not it's not the same situation, right, as in Quake Live. In Quake Live, you know, you have, okay, there's all these items, I know he's going to run all these. And within that, he's going to have certain decisions that he has to make. And I know which kind of player he is, so I know which sort of decisions he's going to make and how he's going to play against me, so then I'm going to make these decisions to counter that the best way I can. Faz is great at that, but we don't have all that process here.
It's a different world, yeah, exactly. The game isn't based on the same decision-making as we had previously. It's not based on the same item and rotation. It's more about utilizing your abilities in the right situations, taking the right fight, making sure you have a really great position. And they are definitely qualities that Evil has in abundance. It's just how can he then alter his game to maximize that in Quake Champions and then utilize, as we said, his mechanics to the absolute fullest. And for me, it's definitely his rail game where he really stands out. And that's something I think he can use to great effect against Faz as well, who obviously likes to move around the map extremely quickly with the Anarchy and the Saw lag. So it's up to Evil to make sure he has the right positioning, utilizing that rail in really good defensive positions and not overextending. I think that's where he's really fallen down recently, is that he overextends a little bit too much. And then I think you might see an upset. I don't want to call Evil upsetting Faz, but technically that's what we've got in our hands.
Yeah, I mean, Faz, he breezed through the regionals. He had a really easy time of it. Won all of his games, I believe. And you know, Evil's definitely had some trouble. But he has some really insane opponents to play against, the likes of Cooler and so on. So Evil's had a lot of hard routes.
It's been a really tough job to get here, and he was obviously unlucky not to come out of the regionals. But we have him here at Quakecon, and I don't think Faz would be too happy he got drawn in his group either.
Yeah, it's a very good point. But you know, do you feel like there's a map which is going to be a favorite for one player or the other? I know, of course, you know, if we look at Evil to be overall the more consistent hitter, heavy hitter, then is that going to be more favorable to you know, avoid, well, basically pick the rail maps?
I think so. I would suggest that. The one thing I'm actually particularly interested to see is what is Evil doing now? Because when I last saw him, it was in the clutch meta, the previous patch, and he didn't adjust out of that. That's one of the reasons he's had an Evil in the regionals. He continued to pick clutch when it wasn't its strongest, and since then he's been off the map. He hasn't really entered any online tournaments. He hasn't really done much. He's just been in his home training for Quakecon. And so I'm interested to see how is he adjusted. Is he playing with a Saw lag? Is he playing with an Anarchy? And that will obviously change my judgment. I think the strongest maps I've seen him on is obviously, I think, Blood Covenant. He was playing very, very well when I saw him there, but Faz is particularly good on that. I would expect Faz to probably pick Corrupted Key, and that's one of the weaker maps I've seen.
Yeah, before. So that's the map without the only map without a rail.
Exactly.
So isn't that's the reason?
It's partly the reason, but also Evil has been struggling in Quake Champions when he's been forced. He likes to play his own game, and that's quite counterintuitive because in Quake Live he was the one forcing opponents. But I found in Quake Champions he hasn't been that effective when people have been pressuring him. maybe because the stacks are different and aim isn't such a great quality, but people have been able to get on top of him and really pressure him and get under his skin. That's something he's not used to because he's the one that does that to opponents. And Baz playing extremely quick style with Anarchies, etc. I think he can do that very well on Corrupted Keep.
So do you feel like overall in Quake Champions so far, Faz is the better jeweler to you?
I would say he's more consistent, yeah, and he has a more rounded and versatile play style.
Yeah, I mean, one thing about Faz is that he's one of those guys that you hate because he'll sit down and play a game. He might never have played it before, but he'll figure it out like super quick. He's very smart. He's very adaptable. That's one of the skill sets that he has. And again, it's something like it's a skill set which is not going to be emphasized as heavily in a game like Quake Live, where we've had it played for ages. If new maps come in, then you're like, oh, hang on, Faz is going to have an edge on most people because he's going to figure stuff out first. And that's the kind of guy he is.
It's a really great point. And it's one of the things that even in the latter days of Quake Live, Faz was always innovating new techniques, new jumps, new tricks, and coming into a game like Quake Champions where you have this new domain of abilities and different air movements and different speeds and passives, etc. He's one of the guys to take that step forward and say, oh, you can start doing this, and people have to follow in his footsteps. And this is why we've seen other players such as Throng come to the fore, because he's been really solid in theory crafting ways in which you can use his champions and use his abilities, and he's been leading the way on that front as well. So I do think it's those players that do play more of a cognitive game and really think about the method behind the game as opposed to just playing the basics, that are taking that forward step and putting other players under pressure.
And it definitely helps as well, considering that Faz has put a lot of emphasis into playing Sacrifice, and so he split a lot of his practice time into dedicating like massive chunks of every night to play with his team. So he's not played nearly as many duel games, I would imagine, as Evil, who has really only had the duel to be concerned with.
And that might come into play, definitely. I know, for example, Claws and Faz are two players that have said, we just haven't had the time. Like, Sacrifice is the focus. This is what we can win. But Faz got here fairly comfortably. Like, he needs to be confident in what he can do. And I think going into this map, seeing Evil come up against him, even though Evil hasn't been doing that well, it might get into his head.
All right, well, I guess it's time to take a quick break. We'll be back very shortly here at the Quake World Championships. See you soon. right, so we're soon ready to get into the game between Evil and Faz, and we have the maps to be shown.
Revealed.
To be revealed. There we go.
There we go.
Ruins of Sarnath, Blood Covenant, and then Corrupted Keep. Faz picking Ruins. So what do you have to say about this, Mr. ZSX?
It's a map where he can use his air movement champions to really great effect. It's probably the original map where we found Anarchy the most effective. It also has a lot of innovation, but it also gives Faz the chance to keep away from a lot of fights if he doesn't want to. The items are very separated, meaning he can keep Evil at bay, like lock him out the red, lock him out the mega, play very, very safe. And I think that's maybe one of the reasons behind his thought process, just to feel Evil out. He doesn't really know, maybe he didn't know what shape he's got him in, so it's quite a safe pick, I think, from Faz.
All right, it's going to be interesting to see how it pans out. Obviously, I'm going to be leaning more on you for a lot of the insights here. As you know, when all the duels going on, I was like, screw this, man, I'm going to play Sacrifice. So tell you all you want about Sacrifice, but this is going to be really cool to see how these players, who I played against a lot in Quake Live, and casted, of course, a huge amount in Quake Live, how everything really translates for them. And again, I just feel like Faz should be a guy that should be top. I feel like I could make a prediction that would feel sane in my head, where I see him, getting a top 4 at this Quakecon, just because of the fact that he's a very smart player. And I feel like this game mode is all about just basically just outsmarting your opponent and outplaying them positionally. And again, as you say, I know as well he loves them, like the great movement options from the heroes like Anarchy, Sorlag, and so on. So it's gonna be interesting to see how that pans out.
It's a really interesting one, because he's one of those guys where you look at him coming into tournaments, he's always doing well, particularly in Quake Champions now, and it's like, well, Faz, I could see him top 4, but then when you say it out loud, no disrespect to them,
you don't see him in the finals, don't you?
You're like,
it's true.
Actually, like, is he going to be there? Because he's one of those guys who's just always doing so consistently.
He's like the gatekeeper, man. He'll just take down anyone.
Yeah.
Anyone in the tournament he can beat, but you might
when push comes to shove. When push comes to shove, it's not joking. It's just there's something missing about his game to really push him to that next level. And I think in the past, for me, it was mechanical skill. I think he's a great player. He can hit his shots, but mechanical skill just wasn't quite there. And his game is very much based on hitting shots. He's quite aggressive, quite in your face, and he sometimes got out aimed and outplayed, and that did make him quite angry. And I think in Quake Champions it does diminish that, and that gives him more opportunities, I think, to use his head, and that pays off quite considerably.
So what lineups are we looking at for both players? Because obviously the meta's changed a bit, so we're not going to see the clutches, we're not going to see the scale bearers as much, and both of the hitbox changes.
Exactly, both of these guys haven't really played a lot of duels, so it's difficult to say. I think from Faz, the quite safe options would be an Anarchy, a Sorlag, and a Nyx. I think generally it's mandatory in duel to have a Nyx, just because it gives you. I personally don't like playing it. I think it's quite almost a risky champion, particularly with my playstyle, but it gives you the opportunity, particularly in tournament setting, where if you need to slow the game down, it's not going your way, you can just play super passive, you can just hide and keep away. So if you have a 1-0 lead or whatever it is, you can then just sit back on your Nyx. So I think it is definitely mandatory. From Evil, I mean, I don't know. I would assume he's been practicing the likes of the Sorlag, so maybe something like a Sorlag, a ranged Nyx. Something that's like an Avec style lineup that gives you that opportunity to get in your face. It's almost seen like Sorlag's mandatory, but the recent patch, and I haven't played it yet, has also changed that, because Sorlag got a slight nerf, hitbox has been changed slightly. The LG, particularly on LAN, is very, very powerful, so we might see Sorlag falling out of the meta, and that's what I imagine seeing as the tournament goes on, is Sorlag falling out of the meta. And we've seen it in the Sacrifice that he wasn't that effective as you've seen him on LAN or previously in the regionals because of these changes. So I think a Ranger and a Nyx might be in there because I think that suits his style. I haven't seen him duel in a long time though.
I'm quite curious how the LG will come into play in a lot of these spots, because there's a lot of spots as well where if you're if you are that, honestly, we're going to go to the character select very shortly, and to finish the point, if we are going to see, a player that, let's say, you look at the two players and you match them up mechanically and you're like, hey, this guy has way more mechanical skill. If you've got the smart, if like you've got your Faz, he's got less, let's say, mechanical skill than Evil, but you can sort of force engagements, certain engagements where you make your shots really easy for yourself, and that's sort of what duel has always been about.
I'm so glad I got this completely right. I'm actually really happy with myself.
There you go.
I'm so glad.
You nailed it.
I did nail it, but I think actually on that point, it's something I hadn't thought about before. I've thought about other guys like Razy and Strength, but Evil is pretty much the king of the lightning gun. Like, it's not necessarily his raw aim, which is also incredible. It's just the way he uses it. And since the recent change, it might give him a new lease of life because he hadn't played on this patch on a tournament yet.
It is interesting. I mean, you know, we're going to jump into the warm-up here, and back in Quake Live, as you say, Evil had this style of rushdown with the LG that no one thought sort of really was possible, but then he would do it and just hit everything,
the way he
and then
did
you would
it,
die, and you'd be like, wait, what?
Yeah, what just happened? I think based on the shorts Evil's wearing, I think I have to actually side with Evil. I hope someone has taken a picture of what Evil's wearing. He looks like he's come straight out of a 70s pool party.
Yeah. Yes, he is wearing like swimming shorts at the moment. I guess he was in the pool earlier.
It's hilarious.
So out of place as well.
I'm actually going to have to side with Evil. I think thinking about it in a bit more depth, I think he's got this.
Going for my man Faz.
Of course you are.
Good friend of mine. We'll see who will be victorious though. Faz, of course, sweeping up all the weapons initially. And that's really important. I mean, obviously at that point, again, you have this default stack. And he's also keeping track of his opponent's weapons. That's why he knows he doesn't have an LG, lands the rail. Although the exchange comes in, Evil also having a rail. So now, it's just about Faz, having the option to take it easy, get a light armor.
And I imagine for the very start of the tournament, I don't think Faz will have played Evil for a while, and likewise Evil for Faz. They're just going to be playing quite tentative, trading items upper and lower, trading rails, and not until they've hit that additional rail can you move in. But again, you have to be particularly careful with the Anarchy and his ability, because obviously you can just heal up, rush away, do some significant damage to you. So I do expect this tentative play to come out of both players until 1 or 2 rounds has passed and they've really tested the waters.
That's a good point as well. Like, you generally want to be able to use your ability to basically get the kill as opposed to escape. Because if you are using it defensively, that sort of means you messed up at some point or your opponent played really well. Exactly. You want to be able to use it to get a finishing kill. Ooh!
Like now he is in serious trouble.
That was a really nice one. And he needs, obviously you want to ideally get to that point where you can inject and then have effective more than 80 health at default.
Your point about Evil's rushdown with the LG is completely right, but I do think probably the most underrated skill that he has is his positional rails, in that he does hit an insane level of rails anyway, but the angles he hits them from, the positions he takes, and that gives him openings. One of the features of this game obviously is the new abilities, and the fact that you can heal up as an Anarchy diminishes how effective that can be. So he is playing a little bit more passive now, otherwise in the traditional kind of sense of it, he would have pushed in after that rail earlier.
Great rocket there from Faz, able to push Evil down off the bridge, but the Dyro brings Evil back up into position, but only...
Madman.
Yeah, that's kind of insane. I was going to... Because that's one of the situations where you go in having a plan, and then the situation really changes it, like the direct rocket, but then you still execute the plan from a position where it's kind of bad, because you're kind of like... Sometimes you get a bit of stubbornness. I don't know if you've experienced that. I know I have.
I do it all the time.
Yeah, it's just one of those things, and maybe that was what it was there for Evil, but that definitely wasn't a good call.
No, I'm a bit overconfident with his aim at the moment.
That was close.
Particularly against an Anarchy, just because you're never going to hit anywhere near as much as you can on other champions, and you have to respect that. You cannot take the same fights. Yep. And this is something I've spoken about in the past, not directly with you, but...
Ooh. Oh, nice. The damage there was great from Evil, getting just a slither of an angle.
That's the angles of the LG I was talking about. It's not the raw aim, it's just the way in which he uses it in that position where most people would have switched over to a rail. Like, why are you using LG? But it just works. But yeah, as I was saying, you need to respect the matchup. So there's a lot of fights you can't take against an Anarchy that you can take against other champions. So you really have to think about the dynamic of what your matchup is.
Uh-oh, this is bad, very bad for Faz. Good defensive rail there to get him out of position. But Evil looking to go for the pursuit, and Faz cleverly using that teleporter to get a better position here, as well as the Mega coming up in 10 seconds. Faz could be in good stead to take that one as well.
Evil's going to go super aggressive now.
Oh, Faz in trouble once again, getting zoned away from the Mega Health. Doesn't have the Ghost Walk available to him, so Evil's absolutely in the driving seat right now.
Great rocket, really, really great rocket. It means that Faz can't even risk going up for a peak rail.
One rail and Faz is done, got to be careful. Evil now making his way down to LG. Oh, just so close.
Evil's fine with this now. He knows the Ghost Walk's back up, so all he has to do is hit a rail and try and push in gently to force the Ghost Walk, and then he can go back to being pretty aggressive.
And this is really bad.
Yeah, this is it.
If Faz, yeah, he's in a spot where he's trying to pressure into the Mega there, but of course, having Ghost Walk up, he's able to take that risk, but down to 25 health, and Even in a situation with the Sorlag where he could start to really apply the pressure, I think he knows that the Ghost Walk was used, so he has a good 30 seconds where if he gets an engagement with Faz, he's going to kill him. So he can afford to go for some rocket jumps here.
He should have switched out to the machine gun there. I mean, he knew Faz had no armor, so one rail would have put him very, very low, but it doesn't matter. He's on the hunt now. We can see him looking for Faz because, as you said rightly, he knows the Ghost Walk was used. But by the time he finds him, the Ghost Walk's already back up. And so this is the difficulty on a map. And this is why we said, great rocket by Faz. They're stopping the aggressive push. But this is why we said Nyx is such an integral pick for Duel, because Faz is able to go on the defensive, play hide and seek, and Evil really can't do anything at the moment.
Yeah, that big chunk of damage as Evil was unaware that Faz was above him was really critical in buying Faz some time, but still the major items will go the way of Evil. So it's really about Faz really just, buying that time, creating a situation where he can have a Ghost Walk up, create another engagement where he can maybe get a commitment, then the Ghost Walk enables him to, if it does go bad, get out and then try again, reset the situation.
Exactly, but the problem is, what do you do? Because if you take one rail as a Nyx, you're in death territory, and this is why I think it's an extremely risky pick as well as a necessary one. I know that's kind of a paradox, but you can't do anything because you're just playing on the back foot and you're waiting for your opponent to make a mistake. And for me, I don't like to play like that. I like to force the game, and we can just see that Faz can't do that. He hasn't got an item in like 2 minutes now. We're in overtime.
Yeah, and those two rails, I think, I mean, it's pretty easy to hit Sorlag, to be honest, and that's two pretty big misses there from Faz. He might not get many other opportunities, if any at all, here, as Evil does connect the rail. And as you say, that one rail's connected. Oh, he's going to go for this Ghost Walk immediately. Oh, he got the Ghost Walk just as he got the pickup, and he's somehow not going to take any additional damage. That's insane. He's actually in a good position now, collecting some time, the cooldown bubbles, and 5 seconds to the Ghost Walk. He's in a great position to take an engagement. Now has found Evil. The rail's connected. Will he be able to finish him off? Another rail there. Zoom for an extra 10 damage as he goes in with the Ghost Walk. Goes for the finishing blows with LG. And Faz, he was looking awful, but makes the round his.
That right there is the way I like to see Nyx play. And that again shows the cognitive stance that Faz has in using his abilities in a very innovative way, whereas most players would, in the overtime situation, would have used that on a defensive situation. He caught Evil completely unawares.
It was in a situation when he lost his Anarchy life, when we saw that kind of awkward LG up from Evil, where he was like, yeah, I'm in the advantage here. And sort of overextended in it, maybe or maybe not. It's just that Evil's good. I think you highlighted it well in how Evil did use that LG, and it just was unexpected from Faz to take so much damage from that position. So it's going to be interesting to see if there's any adjustments here from Faz, if he plays a bit more cautiously with the Anarchy, because I think that he did generally have a lot of success in sort of bullying Evil with his amazing movement.
Yeah, and it was, at the end of the day, it was a mistake by Evil, just getting too aggressive to start with. So at the same time, we might see Evil making that adjustment, thinking, giving a little bit more respect to Faz, particularly after he hit these two rails.
Here we go. He's looking for the finishing blows. He smells blood, and can he get it? He has to go for the inject. Down to 10. Still alive somehow. Picks up the light. Can he get out of this situation? Diving down towards Heavy. And he will survive for now, but that was a very good defense from Evil, and he's going to pick up the Mega as well.
Yeah, I mean, both players there hitting all their shots, meaning neither of them willing to push in. Maybe back in the day in a Quake Live we would have seen a risky push in, but here we go, meeting again just outside the teleport. And back to playing Keep Away. Very tentative from both sides, and it's all about hitting the first rail, and as we see Faz doing there, hitting a rail, pushing in quickly. That's the power of the Anarchy, in that you can get on top of your opponents extremely quickly. But Evil just doing a good job to move away, and Faz not wanting to overcommit. And I think that's the key in Quake Champions Duel, should I say, that you don't want to overcommit when you only have these 3 lives.
You can see he really wanted to make a trap there. Also, just going to get a bit of delay on the Heavy.
Yeah, what he was doing is, well, obviously splitting the items because they've been synchronized the whole time. So now he knows he's on the front foot, he can afford to do that, and he can just keep Evil away from this Mega. And if Evil even tries to push in, he's going to take a considerable amount of damage. And Evil doesn't know it's been delayed, so this is the time for Faz to push.
Yeah, this is his window of opportunity. It's actually got only 5 rockets here. Not sure if that's going to be a problem. We'll see. First rockets coming in from Faz, whipping absolutely everything. They're Evil defending, holding on to that heavy armor and getting the pickup. Massive opportunity completely gone for Faz.
So this is what I was talking about in the introduction. The fact that Faz using his brain to absolutely, that was the perfect move. Splitting the items, Evil didn't know, but Faz hit nothing. I think it was 4 rockets and he hit nothing. And because of it, he's dead.
Great rail there from Evil, finishing him off,
and
catching the Anarchy.
Yeah, and that for that reason is why I always think Faz has the potential and just hasn't reached it. He just needs to hit those shots. They're critical shots.
We wait to see whether Faz can get something going. Working from the high ground, but we can see that often Evil enjoys vertical LG. He's quite good at it, in fact.
He is. He's the best at it, I think, and it's just...
Ooh.
It's really frustrating.
Could have used a rail there, actually, but...
Yeah, there's a few occasions where, but it's those vertical LGs. It's really frustrating because, as you just said, people should rail, and he's using LG.
Yeah.
And people usually miss, but he's not missing with the LG.
Good rocket there from Faz, but it doesn't really serve to help him all that much ultimately, as we can see. Great use of the Dire Orb there to cut off the potential route that Faz may have taken to pressure onto the Mega, whilst also still getting the Mega and keeping it safe. Really good use of that Dire Orb and good positional awareness.
But the problem is the time is ticking down, and Faz has nothing for his name to work with, so it's going to be like almost 4 minutes 20 by the time he gets virtually enough stack to really try and commit to Evil. So all Evil has to do is play relatively safe and not get railed, and he should be fine. But apparently he doesn't want to do that. He just wants to bully him, which is smart. This is really, really smart. Except he's mistimed the armor.
It gets really frustrating when you play Evil style, where you do run all the items and your opponent's kind of getting starved, but you don't connect any shots.
Yeah.
Because then you sort of don't make any progress and get towards that kill, which you're working so hard for, and Evil will get himself back down onto the heavy armor with that Dire Orb.
Nice.
Good Ghost Walk coming in here, pressuring Evil. He can't take the damage. Oh, 2 health, and he hits the rail. The fadeaway is good for Evil, and he will be taking down Faz, down to the last hero. Champion indeed. No, I mean, the intuition there from Evil was perfect. We saw him backing off, even though the red was just about to spawn, because he had that nagging feeling you have as a Quake player where something's not right. There should be someone chasing me. So what is it? They must be invisible. We're looking to go for the drop for the heavy. Knows it soon, but what awaits at the bottom.
He doesn't need to move. He's just playing safe around the 2 exit points because there's 5 seconds to go. Oh my god.
Uh-oh.
It's a good game anyway.
He's good to go.
Yeah. Time.
There it is, 1-1. Evil ties it up and Faz realizes his error.
It's one of those things you're just not used to as a Quake player now. You have 15 years of Quake 10-15 minute duels, so you don't really recognize the 5-minute limit just yet. It might seem silly to people watching, but it's just your brain does not function in the same way.
You built all these neural pathways specifically for one thing.
Yeah, and they have to break them down and rebuild them, which is just not pretty.
See ya. Evil can continue the success. I think he's getting his groove on, but Faz, again, he needs to be able to connect some of these rails. There's one with the Anarchy. Again, is when you see an Anarchy just strafing left and right, spamming AD like that, you look at that and it's like, sometimes I'm just physically ill and I'm just like, nope, I'm just gonna back away from this.
Yeah, it's quite an annoying situation. Nice by Faz, really nice by Faz. Faz reading Evil's positioning and knowing he couldn't get to the Mega, so just taking both. Yeah, it's one of the situations. Nice, really nice Dire Orb by Evil, but just not enough.
That was a beautiful pursuit from Faz, just barely making the rocket, keeping the rocket jump, keeping the momentum, and now forcing a Ghost Walk, and considering that he's quite strong, he could find a way to pressure Evil into a fight, which Evil can't escape from. And
he knows that Evil wants the lightning gun and the rail. This is a really great point to make sure your opponent doesn't come in, but has to retreat just so he doesn't want to lose out on any items.
So allowing a potential pickup there, running everything. There's no Ghost Walk for Evil still, I believe. The rockets are good there from Faz. Has to go for the inject. Can't get an engagement to finish him off as he does drop down to the lower level.
Super close. One missed rocket cost Faz there. It just needed a little bit of splash and it could have been enough, but Evil sneaks away and now the Ghost Walk is back up, giving him another lifeline.
Here he comes. Forces the Ghost Walk again.
Yeah, this is the speed of the Anarchy catching Evil off guard. He's getting in a few precarious situations because he's not keeping track of Faz's movement. And every time he wastes the Ghost Walk, as we said, he then has to back off and collect those time bubbles and just really can't show on the map because you just don't feel confident as a Nyx until that's back up.
Go the rail whiff by Evil as he makes his way up the jump head, back to the rail now, seeing if he can find himself some bit of safety. Going for the telly, Faz comes in for the engagement. Great defensive rocket. That's going to send Faz packing. So he doesn't really have an option to continue that fight. But down onto the heavy, and it's a trade. Both players going down to their each other's rockets.
Faz picking the Nyx. I'm relatively surprised. I would have expected the Sorlag to come out with the Nyx to kind of finish off the game, but maybe he wants to try and run down the clock from 2 minutes 30. I do not know.
Interesting. That would be definitely a strategy that could work for him. Perhaps if he doesn't feel confident that he can sort of beat Evil in these direct fights,
yeah,
he can force Evil to chase him, and then he gets a better engagements.
That's exactly the other point I was going to say, that he was going to use the Nyx's... No, it doesn't matter.
Boom.
Use the Nyx's mobility to keep away from the Sorlag, being a lot faster and nimble, but doesn't matter. Hits a direct rocket to the face of the lizard.
Yeah, the easy peasy for Faz in the end. Looked, I mean, some of the frags come so difficult. It's so difficult to get some kills, and then some is like, yep, here's your rockets.
I know. It feels like Evil's doing all the right steps, and then just a couple of like little mistakes. Nice by Faz, pushing him really, really quickly. Doesn't want to risk it.
There's the rail though. Can he get an angle? Looks like he's more interested in the items, and that's fine. I respect that choice.
Nah, it was just playing ridiculously safe. He had 76 health. One rail would kill him. You're already up to one. Why take any sort of risk if you don't need to?
Just chilling out a little bit now. Faz waiting to try to stack himself back up. It's actually going to be a mega there for him as well. Spots Evil just for a second. Nice flick rail, but he will take a rail as well. And as you mentioned, Anaki's so squishy that trade is going to be pretty fine for Evil. He's still got armor to play with as well.
Yeah, and respecting Evil's rail in particular massively, that anytime he has sub 80, he will just play completely passive and sneak his way to an armor.
And here it is in the air, opting to go for the inject. Really smart stuff there from Faz. Gets himself back onto the heavy, working out quite well. Doesn't want to go up the jump pad. Nice rail though. Spots an opportunity and he nails it. It's going to be down to the Nyx here for Evil now.
Very surprised Evil opted to go with the lightning gun there when Faz popped up into the air. All it would have taken is one rail. It was very, very railable. So a little weapon mistake coming out from Evil, which is rare, I would say.
Oh, that's close. Positionally though, Faz is much better, in a better spot to pick up all the items, and this is a really desperate timing right now for Evil, because if Faz gets the mega and he just picked up the heavy, then Evil has nothing. He's got no Ghost Walk, I think, for another 15 seconds at least. There is a window now for Faz to push him down, and he's looking for that pursuit, trying to get that info. What is Evil going to do to try to stay alive here?
Exactly, and there was no better champion than Anarchy to really push against this cooldown. Again, it's something that's overlooked. That's one of the problems with the tankier champions against the Nyx, is that when it's on cooldown, you can't force the fight because you can't catch the Nyx. But with an Anarchy, you can get on top of it and make the absolute most out of that 40 seconds or whatever it is.
And yeah, he's just looking for that next opportunity now. Really importantly, though, is that in this situation, he didn't force another Ghost Walk, which I feel like would kind of perpetuate that cycle. Will that happen now? I mean, I don't think Evil wants that to be the case. He's going to fall back. And now Evil's done enough damage, it feels like he can get himself onto items finally.
Yep.
It's been a while since that was the case.
The same with the trading the rail. This suits Faz because Evil's pushing in with his Ghost Walks.
Oh, that's so much damage. Forced to use the inject.
That was,
oh my god.
1 second too late. Otherwise, that was a kill.
Let's just pick up the mega though, but again, he doesn't have an inject to save his life, so he might want to play passively now. And
but there's no Ghost Walk as well, so they're pretty even on the cooldowns. And every second that passes, this suits Faz now with the one champion advantage.
Looking to get a nice rail connected, but Nyx will jump up. Perhaps trying to fake him out there as the wall jump was expected, but it didn't come in from Evil. In fact, Evil will be around the lightning gun area. Spotted, I think, just for a second by Faz. Looking for the rail. Will miss that one, though. Quite difficult to hit Nyx as it is Anarchy as well. Awkward engagement. And the OG will be definitely much more consistent. So Evil in a good position. Look at this. He's actually able to catch Faz. More damage because he goes for the drop down. Can he finish him off? Good rocket. The inject comes in just in the nick of time, but
gosh,
escape.
Darn
the
it.
is whiffed.
Cannot hit the Anarchy when it counts. Cannot hit the Anarchy. Yeah. Evil's making all the right calls, but the time is not on his side. He does have the stack advantage. Just needs to get this mega, and I think that's just game on. He has to push for the final minute.
It's a really tough situation now. As you say, minute to go. Evil starts to get desperate.
Faz playing the corners now.
Evil could be considered one of the most clutch duelers of the last few years. Again, having made many finals.
But what can you do now? It's almost impossible to catch the Anarchy. He has to hit a rail and then try and use the Ghost Walk.
There it is, Ghost Walk used to no avail. This would be a big mistake perhaps from Faz now to get himself in a position. Oh, that's a great bounce into the rail combination.
And he hasn't timed the Mega.
Oh my god, with 30 seconds to go. That is beautiful stuff there from Evil. It was hard to see him even do it. Like, how could he even find a way? But he did.
Literally calling him the most clutch player of recent times, and what does he do? Pulls out one of the most clutch players of the tournament so far. But exceptional play from Evil, did everything right. And now we're going to probably go into overtime with the Nyx versus Nyx, which can be a very slow affair.
Right, so Evil with the Mega. He's obviously now flipped the tables. Faz working the lead for so long, but now...
We saw Faz's Nyx struggling against Evil before, just because Evil just hits more shots. And when that's the case, there's nothing you can really do as a Nyx without any stack.
Risk taken there by Evil, and he's actually going to be hit with a rail by Faz. And this is really interesting because in Evil, he went for the Ghost Walk aggression, trying to hopefully catch Faz there, but he wasn't there. And now he's not got a Ghost Walk. If Faz gets on top of him, he won't be able to escape all that easily, but Faz will.
The one thing that Evil has in his advantage is that Faz is unaware Evil used the Ghost Walk.
Oh, Faz knows that Evil is low now. He's hit 2 rails, and he's taken the big items. So Evil's in a lot of trouble. One more rail, I think, and he's probably going to be dead.
Faz is also weak prior to that pickup. He keeps messing up this jump, actually.
Annoying with Nyx with that wall jump. Because all the other heroes that you play, you tend to spam the jump when you're going to jump pad.
But Nyx does it too early.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Mega picked up again. So the situation sort of, in some senses, a little bit more reset, but Evil's still finding it hard to get any big pickups.
He is, and he is also down. This is a game point if Faz takes this round, so it's definitely pressure on Evil. Both have the Ghost Walk, which means there's probably not much going to happen for the next fight also.
It's a really good rocket though from Evil. That equalizes thing. In fact, it even puts him in the edge, with the edge there, and a Ghost Walk used by Evil after he takes a rail. Can't possibly afford to die here.
But there's nothing up, and he's in probably the worst position, so far away from any of the small armors, and Faz knows that.
Oh, the rocket's good from Evil, forces the Ghost Walk, but down to 13 himself. Faz goes to 2, and that is it for him, 2-2.
That was the right decision. I have no idea how that rocket did so much damage, but wow.
There you go. All down to the last round between these two highly accomplished duelists. Evil definitely more accomplished in recent years than Faz, that's for sure.
I don't know if Faz is probably the unluckiest jeweler of all time. He's doing everything right. It's just some things are not paying off.
That's sort of the magic when you have a championship tier player such as Evil to play against. Sometimes
I agree, yeah. Very true.
Oh my god. Oh, that's disgusting amount of LG damage. And the thing, especially against the LG, now that it is stronger, when you're looking at fights against the squishies, the fast champions, you can consistently deal damage. Whereas with the rail, you shoot the rail, you miss, and the other guy's shooting you with LG, you're done. Yeah,
it's definitely the safer play, but sometimes nice. But sometimes you just have to take the gamble and try and hit that rail, because if you hit it, they're dead. So it's definitely like a risk analysis.
And this is a great start for Evil now. He's actually, I mean, the last round we can look at Evil struggling being behind the entire time with a clutch rocket to rail combo to get himself back in it and then somehow actually win the round. Really unbelievable stuff from Evil in that perspective. But now Faz is on the back foot. Oh, good LG damage, talking of that, but again, so much in the way of pickups here. Evil's able to go for the pursuit
Ghost
here.
Walk.
Oh my god, Evil able to take down Faz on the drop, and now Faz,
yeah,
the worst position we've seen him in the entire series.
Initial great play from Faz, but the Ghost Walk was a blunder and it's cost him the map. Oh, GG. Faz threw that away. Faz threw that away rather than Evil winning it.
You reckon?
Yeah.
I mean, we saw some engagements where he's trying to pursue for the frag, and you think I mean,
you have to play to win.
Yeah, I mean, he's going for it, man. He had a situation, he knew his opponent super low. I mean, it depends which situation you're talking about, but...
Oh, say that last teleport of death, the one on the 2-1.
Yeah.
Where if he got that, he won.
He knows Evil's like 1 LG cell away from death, but Evil gets, obviously... I mean,
he was literally 14 I think it was, but either way, it was 1 or 2 bullets, and if you don't go for that kill, it resets. Like, Nyx has a Ghost Walk up, he has full health stack, you're back on even
man,
terms.
You gotta play like a man.
Exactly,
go for the
and he
balls
did.
Out all the way.
He did. And
Faz with the balls out.
they got crushed.
They did. Yeah, they got absolutely hammered on by Evil.
They did.
So
Russian pain.
yeah, that's
Either way, I was massively impressed with Faz. There were a few situations where he was doing everything right, and just at the end of the day, mechanical skill let him down. Like the rocket's not hitting, the rail's not hitting, and on the other hand, Evil pretty much hitting everything.
Well, that's the thing. Like, if we look back at the situation where Evil got he was able to have like the clutch play in the last like 20 seconds or so. Rocket bounced to rail connection, hitting the rail as Faz was in the air, helpless. And you got to give it to Evil, man. That was his position to win the match.
That's what I'm talking about. Like, he was making the right decisions. He had got Evil low prior to that point. He went for the Mega because it was free, and then somehow Evil steamrolls in with virtually no health or armor and hits a rocket to rail combo and just kills you. I mean, as Anarchy, that can happen because you're always at such a low deficit in terms of health and armor. But again, Faz is making the right decisions. It was just a bit of a freaky play coming out from Evil. Interestingly, Faz does not opt for the saw lag on this map, and Evil changes the saw lag. I was going to say, I don't think his saw lag was very effective at all. He does not look well trained or drilled so far in just that previous map. So he's mixed it up for the visor, which is not a meta pick, if I can say that.
Hey man, he's got a wall hack. You can see stuff through walls. That's pretty sick.
All right, done. All right, cool. Thanks.
Yeah, man. Wall hack. Well, I mean, come on. It's good. It's pretty good.
I remember
on this
when
map too. I mean, I guess it can be quite difficult sometimes to even locate your opponent.
No, I think this is one of the maps where it is definitely viable. I remember when they first announced Quake Champions and we were looking at all the abilities, I was like, whoa, come on, that is like the most OP stuff in here.
I actually thought Daryl was the most OP when it came out. Yeah, because I was like, you can teleport anywhere you want. That's pretty good. Like,
yeah. We've got some other stuff coming out soon, which is going to be pretty OP as well. So I'll have to see how innovative people can be on it. But here we go. We're in again with the Knicks.
We in.
Round begins in 3.
All right.
1.
Round 1. Fight.
So Evil able to get himself off to the heavy and rail. Obviously, one of the reasons why the Dire Orb is so good is because the cooldown is 20 seconds, which is insane. Is really insane if you consider the sheer utility and also killing potential with it.
And on the previous map, we spoke about nice engagement to start with. We spoke about Evil's rail prowess, and I think that was definitely a defining characteristic of Ruins of Sana. This map is even better for it.
Speaking of rails, Faz with a good connection there, and
it's not going to deter Evil though.
Yeah, Evil just keeping the pressure on. You've got to be careful when you're peering over this bridge. If Faz gets the connection, the second follow-up could get scary. It'd be hard for Evil to replenish his health and armor, but look at this beautiful dive onto the Mega there from Faz. Does take a rail for his troubles, but again, denying the Mega from Evil. He just sustained a rail previously. Faz is a bit more stacked. Although actually, no, it's actually more or less even if you can count the armor as well.
Sure. It's one of the characteristics of Evil is that he just takes the risky plays that no other player does, and it catches you off guard multiple times. If it doesn't pay out in Quake Champions, it can cost you the game, but at the same time, it's often got such a high reward that it really does keep you on the back foot when you're playing against him.
Evil up the jump pad onto the Mega. After the initial exchange, which didn't seem to suit him, he's managed to build himself up quite the stack.
Yeah.
Looks good at the moment now as he looks to get a good bit of chip damage. If he can do that with a rail, more than, I guess, chip damage, it's basically most of Anarchy's health, then he can get a Dire Orb and try to position himself. But actually, 2 rails from Faz changes everything.
Nice from Faz. Whoa.
That was close.
Little bit close. You're right. Yeah, that's the key. Any rail against Anarchy or a Nyx just does such a disproportionate amount of damage that you just have to back off. Even though Faz hit a rail, he's used his ability, he still doesn't have enough to commit to anything.
Got to be careful as well. Evil just, again, Evil hits these, Evil's that player that hits all these shots that you just don't expect. And when you're a Quake player, you go into an engagement knowing sort of how much damage you're very likely to take, and you can pretty accurately guess that, and it seems, it's like kind of uncanny. And the situation against Evil is that, and why he catches people off guard is because he always does a bit more than you actually expect. It's like Cypher at tournaments as well. Cypher's exactly the same way. You just don't understand that he can do so much damage. I was
going to say the exact same point in that you have these... No! Oh, super close, super close.
Don't do that!
You have these players like Eve, like Strengths and Toxic, which have obviously incredible aim, but in a consistent and confined environment. They don't catch you off guard. If you run into them in a one-on-one, they will demolish you. But they don't take these positions where they deal like freakishly weird damage in positions you don't expect. Nice rails coming out.
Oh no, dropping onto the LG. We've seen how strong it is, and Faz able to get away just in time using that air control. But in comes the reposition there from Evil. Can pull out the rail now as Faz catches him off guard. Great chip there as we see Evil picking up that Mega.
But the Evils and the Cyphers of this world, they don't have the same raw aim, but they just do incredible damage when they shouldn't.
The Evils and the Cyphers as well. Are you saying that there's more than 2 of those guys running around? Because that's scary.
I would put Rafa in that category.
Scary world.
I'd put Rafa in the category. I'd say he plays, and even Cooler now, they play very similar ways and just do damage when they shouldn't. And that as a player is what wins you games.
Oh, awkward, but great rockets
Nice.
there. And Evil will have seen how much damage he did, and he knows he's up against an Anarchy. If he can just get a good position, hit a rail, he can finish him off. And once the Anarchy is gone, it should get a bit easier here for Evil. You can see why Faz leads with the Anarchy. Oh,
nice rail.
He knows that Faz must be just screaming at the moment.
One more rail.
Oh, that's so important. Oh, whoa, no, Faz. Oh, God, it's so dangerous. How on earth is he alive?
My heart.
Oh, he hits the direct as well. Oh,
No
another
way.
one as well coming in from Faz. Excellent work. What a ridiculous series
Jesus.
of exchanges between these two players. Faz, how have you done this?
Magical Swede.
How on earth have you done this? And you were saying in the last map he must be the unluckiest player. Well, I can see where the luck has gone. I mean, that was pretty sick. He rocket jumped into Evil's LG. That is a Death Warrior signing by doing that. Doesn't die somehow. Hits 2 directs.
This is the thing with he saw that though. He definitely saw the Ghost Walk. This is the thing with an Anarchy and the air control is that you can do these pretty much dumbass moves and get away with it sometimes just because you can go zip away in a random direction that wouldn't work otherwise. But Faz, again, playing to win, you know, balls out, why not?
Balls all the way out, man, flapping around in the winds as Anarchy moves at obscene speeds through the map. Through
10
Blood
seconds.
Covenant.
10 seconds. Don't mess it up, Fazzle.
Here he is. The Anarchy's got a great escape potential. He's got that inject ready to go.
Nice. Round 1. That was, I think, a very calculated and tactical game.
I don't know, man. I just saw the
Beyond the kind
Yeah, I
of
was gonna
moments
say.
of erratic randomness that came out from Faz.
I just saw the result, man. It's 2 direct rockets flying all over the place.
Yeah, beyond that exchange, they kept each other at the mid-range. Evil playing that kind of high but mid-level, not really going down to the lower levels, just playing the rail game, as we said, he does very, very well. And just waiting for his opportunity.
Rip.
Hit it.
Ooh, that was close, and Evil's going to be so sad he didn't pick that one up. 2 rockets close range. You feel like you have the Anarchy in your grasp, you're crushing him, you're squeezing his throat, but somehow he slips away.
It is the most, I don't know if you know this, but it's probably the most frustrating feeling in the world when you get an Anarchy in that position and you don't finish him off because you know, okay, he's away, that's it, GG.
Yep. I definitely have those feels. I've had those feels.
Same with the Knicks when it's when the thing is on cooldown. Jeez, man. Mouse breaking territory.
Because it is with Anarchy, like, absolutely that position where, oh my god, I've caught him. He's caught. He's done. He's done now. Like, if you get that first good rocket, he's done. But he can't move. I got this.
You can't pin him down. So if you let that slip, oh, gotta compose yourself again.
Yeah, Faz is in a good position too. He's obviously working the high ground here. He gets the spot. Good rail coming onto Evil. And Faz is playing much better than the opening of Ruins of Sarnath, I would say, where he's like whiffing some easy rails against the sword. Ah, great!
Nice.
Stuff there, the peak coming in, and we'll see the Darub trying to make Faz look away to give Evil something to play with there. And he does escape the situation, but Faz is still in the driving seat, getting the mega pickup, although suspended in the air rather, as we get Evil with a quick rail to diminish the stack of Faz, but he's still looking pretty decent.
Yeah, but again, that damage coming out from Evil just before the mega, meaning Faz got pretty much the full pickup, so a little bit unfortunate there.
There's a spot to Faz, knows exactly where Evil is. Evil challenging onto that heavy armor, looking to get the LG damage up there as he goes for the flick rail, and just standing there, fighting. Now predictably moving down the stairs. Faz knows he's got Evil, and he will pick up the frag indeed now, as Faz is looking great on Blood Covenant.
Yeah, he really is, and you made the correct point in that he's now hitting his shots, and that allows him to play his game because he's getting in the right position. When he hits his shots, he can use the Anarchy speed to pressure Evil and dive in for the kill. Evil's got the Ghost Walk up as well, so there is a chance we can see him using this aggressively, but he's also missed the red, meaning his window is faded very slightly.
Great rail there from Faz. Again, the speed of Anarchy troublesome to deal with. And up the jump pad goes Evil, but the flick rail.
That would have been a kill. It would have been a kill as well. Unlucky by Faz.
But he's so fine. He's got so much in the way of opportunities still to come, as he has so much stack, so much speed, so much power.
Defrag right now.
There's a little bit of chip damage from the rocket, but can he hit the rail? That's the question. Evil sitting on that heavy armor. We'll pick it up there. Rail comes in a bit too late though, but Faz drops in for the finish. LG comes out, and a Ghost Walk there to keep Evil alive.
Justin.
Oh, hello. All right then. That seems fair enough. Evil with a long-range direct rocket. Faz did not know what hit him, and such is the life of an Anarchy.
I'm done, man. I'm done. That was disgusting.
Yeah. You look like you're going to be physically sick. Are you okay? Do you need to do something?
I'm more pale than I normally am.
We'll sort that out later. I don't know what that means. Just gonna I had no way to follow that up. But will Faz be able to follow up such a great rocket there from Evil? Where's the response at right now? Obviously, both players hero down a piece, and Faz now on to the next. So it's the next mirror matchup we have here. This could go on for a while.
It could. Both have the Ghost Walk up. So as we know, the plan is now to try and hit your rail, pressure, force out the Ghost Walk. Then you have some good 30 seconds or so to play with. One of the good tactics on this map, because there are a lot of them, is trying to protect those time shards. They're such a resource that you can set up traps around them.
The Ghost Walk forced?
By both of them.
Yeah, that's the panic Ghost Walk there. I think if Faz, truly had, balls out mode, he knows he's got the engagement there. And that's the thing, Evil was like, okay, this is a really, really terrible engagement for me. And then Faz would have the advantage of having not used his Ghost Walk just yet.
But for instance, that curved area there, that's a really, really great area to... so he knows. How does he know?
Well, Evil's dead. He's going to be electrocuted. And Faz, as you said, he had the read there somehow, or just the guess, and Evil had no idea. And that's the difference sometimes. You get in the right position, you connect the string of LG, that's a very dead mix. But is it going to be a dead Solar, rather Visor? The
difference there was that Faz collected more time shards. Evil's cooldown was probably, I think, 3 seconds away. Literally the most important thing in a game are the time shards sometimes.
And there it is.
2-0 on Evil's map. But can he finish it off? He was in a very strong position on Ruins.
You're right.
And he didn't do it.
Round begins in 3.
Man, that direct rocket from Evil was
not enough.
Sexy stuff, man.
It was sexy though.
It was sexy.
Frag movie clipping.
Now we've got Faz back onto the Anarchy, where he's found so much success. Evil having to find a ridiculous shot to actually stop his Anarchy.
Yeah, and this is the thing.
Oh, this is a great position. Has to force the Ghost Walk, surely. No, he doesn't actually. Evil...
He's already used it. That's
oh, wow. Because
he used it at the start to try and catch him with the rail. And that's why Faz was protecting the time bubbles.
And he was Faz was super close there to actually hitting basically a direct rocket. So that could have been it right there.
And on the previous map, that's the exact area where you can set up traps, because there's a good few hiding positions around it, and you know that Nyx needs those time bubbles.
Decent rocket, 47 damage there, and
both pushing in
down, going for the committed play. Faz trying to escape here. Evil, gotta be careful. Coming back through, circling back into the nail gun, and it will be Evil pushed back on towards the jump pad. Faz though doesn't seem to want to take the engagement. He's gonna wait for a better moment. We'll have to see if that pays off now as he gets the inject, and back into the mega he'll surely go as Evil sits there waiting for the spawn, and Faz just wanting to play the rail from long distance.
Yeah, and for me, well, Evil switched out to the Nyx, which shows he thinks that's the most viable tactic against the Anarchy. He's playing defensive now, and this is he's waiting for the... Oh no!
Great shot, trying to mess with Faz, trying to mess with his rails, expecting Faz to perhaps flick up, using the wall jump there to offset the trajectory, but Faz is too good. Oh, the direct rocket connects. Could it be the rail follow-up? Looking for it. Faz has the speed, but does he have the connections? And he does. Evil sent into space. As Faz looks amazing right now.
It's now Faz's game to lose.
Is there a way back in?
There is, but it's a long road. You have to use the full 5 minutes. And I was about to say, I think Evil needs to play a different style. The rail game isn't working, and one of the strong tactics I find against Anarchy is these CPM champions. He's pushing. He has to push in. He's going to get the kill. Yeah, GG. These CPM champions, the way in which they move around the map, they have their roots to keep their speed. I'm sure you know that very well. So one of the strong tactics I find is to camp the routes around corners, because you know where they're going to come flying around to get an item. So you camp those corners with a rocket, and then you can try and pin them into the wall, into a nice contained space. Evil that game opted for the longer range, hitting the rails, playing a bit more passive and cautious. And Faz just responded perfectly. He hit an equal amount of rails, never allowed Evil in, and anytime he got even semi-low, Faz just retreated. So it was perfectly played by Faz. Yeah,
he had a really good just positional superiority, generally speaking. And one thing that you sort of, it's hard to see, what Faz is doing in this situation is sort of being able to avoid the spots which are bad, which kind of sounds like, what does that mean? Because we just, what you're seeing right now is just like him running around.
I mean,
but
if
what
that
you're
was
not
me,
seeing is what he's not doing. And that's kind of, because he has a lot of situations where he could take this route or that route.
Exactly.
As you said, he specifically always picked the right route, so he had just enough safety, he wasn't too committed, played off the information he had. He really did play it remarkably well.
And it's that exact quality that it's very difficult for people that aren't too involved into Duel to see, is that, well, it looked really easy for Faz. Why couldn't Evil do any more? It's because Faz played exceptionally around the information he had and never committed to fights, so he wasn't going to at least have a fair chance. And as you're right, just choosing the safest routes to keep Evil at bay. And it worked absolutely perfectly.
Now we're going to be on to Corrupted Keep, I believe, right? So
wow. So I initially said I favoured Faz here. I still do.
I know you predicted Evil to win this series, but
I did.
But I predicted Faz.
Evil's combat skills are looking very strong. It could go either way. Okay.
Well, either way, you mean Faz's way?
No, Evil.
Because that's my. You got to stick with your prediction, man.
I said Evil was going to win.
Okay, good.
At the start.
Yeah, nice. I said Faz.
Yeah, so I just stuck with my prediction.
Good. No backing out of anything. That's good. Right, it's gonna be really cool to see how not having the rail involved.
They both heavily revolved around the rail.
Yeah.
We've seen that Faz has tried to avoid these one-on-one combat fights at all costs, and on Corrupted Keep that's quite difficult to do.
We're gonna see different champs.
We are gonna see Sorlag back in the mix, probably from both. I think we probably go back to the original compositions.
Where's Galena at?
I think Galena is probably the most underutilized champion. We've only really seen Cypher use it, and he uses it to
Blood
amazing
Run, right?
effect.
So mostly
Blood Run and Corrupted Keep.
As well?
And Ruins and Corrupted Keep. Pretty much.
Okay, basically everywhere.
It does, except
the entire map pool.
Yeah, except Blood Covenant.
That makes sense.
Yeah, but it's very, very strong, but also it takes different mindset. I think it's very underutilized. I'm sure it's a conversation we'll have later, but I don't think either one of these people play it.
Right, well, that's a bit of a shame.
I love Galena. I love Scalebearer.
So I guess we never see Slash.
I don't think we're going to see Scalebearer at all this tournament.
No. Yeah, I spoke to Toxic about that. He's just like, well,
pointless.
Kind of like the old patch where I could play Scalebearer.
Yeah.
But now the hitboxes are sort of like it's just so much easier to hit him, and the LG's so strong.
And it's like it's just another champion that's very cooldown dependent, because the bull rush needs to be used pretty predominantly defensively. If you're really on the offense, then you can reposition with it, but without that, then you're just a sitting duck, because as we said, their hitboxes are so large that you just get absolutely destroyed even with the bigger stack. And again, Clutch maybe got over-nerfed. I mean, it's not our debate to have, but we don't see him at all. And Slash,
whatever debate you want. This is the land of free speech, of freedom.
Apparently not, according to James Harding. And Slash, we'll see some Slash, but not from either one of these. Faz plays it, but I don't think he plays it in Duel.
Yeah, it doesn't really make. I can't really see how it makes too much sense.
Doesn't work on Corrupted Keep either.
Yeah.
If we were going to see it at all, it would have been the first map. Also, well, even like a Ranchi, it works. Oh. But yeah, Evil, I think he's looked really, really solid. Faz played out of his mind that game. I think Evil took the wrong tactic. The first two rounds were the closest. The third one was a write-off. Really a couple of unlucky, silly mistakes from Evil. Tried to do a few different things that didn't work. I just think he needed to try and contain Faz in a close combat quarters rather than keeping him at bay. But at the same time, as we said, Faz played keep away exceptionally well.
Yeah, he really did. Is he going to get the same mileage out of Anarchy on this map?
Yeah, definitely. Anarchy is really strong, but at the same time, it's if you play very smart, it can be vulnerable, because you can run into a shotgun, you can run into a direct rocket. But we've seen like Noctis in the past use it to really great effect. Razy, really, really strong on Anarchy as well. Victor, all of these guys have Anarchy on the top of their list, and they always use it first pick on Corrupted Keep.
All right, well, it's his time will tell. We'll take a quick break here, and we'll finish off the series here between Faz and Evil. Don't go anywhere. We'll see you soon for the remainder of this match.
I've played Quake over 20 years. I've been doing it a long time.
Every single year I've competed.
Started playing Quake Live in 2008. This would be my first experience being considered a pro gamer.
To have another Quake game come out, I don't think I've ever trained this hard in my life.
That adds a lot more to the table for this year's Quakecon because it's not the same game that we've been playing.
Our biggest team strength is that we have the ability to have fun while we're playing the game. I'm just really confident in my team.
I don't really think we have an MVP in our team. Any one of us can go crazy.
We have a lot of experience, we execute very well, and our communication is on point.
If my team is playing their A game, we will always come on top of every situation, every outcome.
Our aim is scary. If we're all on, good luck. Seriously.
The magnitude of the prize pool that's being put there, the amount of effort that all the players have been putting in and preparing for this tournament, the amount of skill that I'm seeing to overcome that challenge, it always excites me.
This is the year that we're going to have to prove that we are the best.
The decision to bring champions into Quake came from Quake Live. Adam Pyle came up with the idea of adding an enhancement that would incorporate abilities into characters, and it was going to be a game mode. That was it.
One thing we wanted to do with Quake Champions was provide a way for you to move as you did in every previous Quake game. One thing I was often asked was, hey, are you guys going to make a sequel? What are you going to do? What are you going to do with movement? Are you going to keep crouch sliding? Are you going to keep strafe jumping? It dawned on us early on, with a future Quake game, we wouldn't necessarily have to choose. Instead, we could build this concept where we provided those options that you could play like you did in Quake 4, you can play like you did in Quake 3, or you could have even the movement of Quake 1. But the general idea is that each champion represents a different movement style. Characters kind of could have special abilities, but still be fairly balanced.
So we prototyped it in Quake Live, and we found that it was actually really fun. We felt, why don't we take this idea of champions and really expand it? And I see kind of a natural evolution of the first-person genre now, moving towards more champion, hero, kind of class-based shooters. Because people like to associate themselves to a character or a class, and it adds a lot of depth and strategy to the game that goes beyond just kind of running and gunning.
The goal is to be true to the Quake franchise and the expectations of what it means to be a Quake game. You have to evolve and you have to make something that's fresh and new and interesting.
Esports is all about a good balance in characters and not one being superpowered that can actually affect the outcome. The idea behind the champions and esports is that it's all skill-based.
So how do you take skill and you add champion abilities but not mess it up? The champion abilities, they don't really change the way you play, but they do alter the way you play. And the passive abilities don't really change the way you control your characters and you move, but they do enhance the way you control your characters and you move. We didn't go too far, but we went far enough to make a difference.
We'll probably introduce a new champion every 2 to 3 months and introduce new metas for people to experience.
People that complain on the internet, you are ruining my Quake because you put champions in it. Just go play that Quake. Quake Live still runs today. But if you want something new, and I feel that it's something better, because we're evolving the game and we're pushing it forward, champions really works out well. Dual mode has always been really critical to Quake Champions, but we never actually set out to do that. We realized years ago that people love watching duel games.
One thing we did do is we looked at similar games that have these challenges, like fighting games. In a fighting game, you could have a Street Fighter where you had 2 Ryus playing against each other, but it's much more exciting to have a full lineup where everyone has these different skills.
In Quake Champions, dual mode consists of 3 champions that you bring into your arena, and you have 1 life per champion per round. There is much more strategy with the duel. You have to know all the champions, and you have to know how to play against those champions.
Having characters that move, have different health rates, and have these special abilities, it makes everything very important and exciting because of the importance of the kill.
It's still very skill-based, but that metagame around duel really adds a lot to the experience. original Quake was the very first game that allowed dedicated independent servers to exist that people could connect into. That was something very new. What it did is it allowed people to have one place that they could go to compete. What we found is that players would go to the same servers, play against the same people, teams started to form, clans started to form. We planned none of this. And because Quake by itself is very skill-based, it takes a lot of dexterity to play it, it did lend itself well to who is the best Quake player, who has the best skill, who could beat the top guy in the US or the top guy in Europe.
I was a player in the late 90s and the early 2000s. Going from, state to state, country to country, you saw how much passion there was, how much fun people were having playing and spectating. Something was happening here.
Competitive gaming back in 1996 wasn't really a thing. So we were just excited that people were playing Quake together. And even Quakecon, which was a convention started by our fans to see who the best Quake player was. We were really excited by this.
You would see a line out the door of people trying to get in, and everyone would be holding their giant computers and their huge CRT monitors.
Put them on tables that would compress because of the weight.
You would have to take multiple trips because there would be so many wires and so many computers. And
they were all on land, so they were right there. They'd yell back and forth. It was much more unruly than it is today.
And after everyone was eliminated, there'd be two players, and everyone would be hunched behind them, watching them and seeing what was happening, and they could only see one point of view.
And that sense of community and being together and playing together has just grown and grown and grown. And yes, now our communities are millions of people, but we never imagined 20 years ago that the esports industry and the size of what it is today could ever have been a thing. And we are very blessed and fortunate that Quake really started it. Every esport game today can trace its roots all the way back to Quake. My name is Tim Willits. I am the studio director here at id Software, and I have the unique distinction of working on every single Quake game. id Software at the time knew that Doom could be so much more if you could play together, because gamers are social and we love to play together. So the idea of multiplayer that we see today really can trace its roots all the way back to Doom.
I was in high school at the time when Quake 1 came out. I played a guy from Florida. We spent, I think, an hour just jumping, kind of excited that you could look at your screen and see someone in Florida, hundreds of miles away. That was entirely new in gaming.
Doom, of course, had no mouse look, but when we developed Quake, because it was a true 3D game, we needed the ability to look up and down. But it was something so new that even for us, it was a bit unsettling.
They were worried at the time that players weren't ready for 360 movement looking around. And so it wasn't enabled by default, even though it was in the game.
We were playing multiplayer. We were playing on Quake 1, and it was towards the end of development. John realized that he was going to die. He was holding the rocket launcher. He pointed the rocket launcher down. He fired, and he jumped at the same time. And he went, "Ooh!" and he landed behind us. And we were like, "Oh my God, what was that?" And that was the very first rocket jump. It's one of those kind of unique aspects of Quake that we've fostered and that we've grown and that we've evolved to become really a kind of a pillar of what the gameplay is now. When we started Quake 3, multiplayer at the time was just exploding. I mean, it was so popular. And we knew that if we made a game that really focused on that multiplayer experience, that it would be something amazing. And Quake 3 has lasted the test of time. I mean, how many games have gone for so many years and had such a following? It's because we put all our eggs into one basket and said, this basket is going to be multiplayer. It's hard to point to a game that is more perfect than Quake 3. Even though we've done so many different Quake games, there is that one identity. It is brutal, and it is fast, and it has awesome over-the-top weapons. Those are the signature Quake elements that exist in every Quake game.
We're back. It's time to finish off Faz versus Evil. Evil disappeared. He's like, I'm off. Then, you know,
but
what can you do?
Hopefully he's composed himself. He got seriously unlucky in DM6 on a lot of occasions.
Or did Faz just play like a gangster?
No, Faz plays like a gangster, but I thought after seeing Evil on Ruins, I thought he was just disgusting. He did so much damage and Faz couldn't do anything a lot of the time. Yes, he made the right decisions, but Evil also did everything perfectly. And Faz...
I think you're just saying that, you know, because it was your prediction that he'd win, you know.
No, I mean, I genuinely think that Evil played really, really well on Ruins and got unlucky on DM6. But Faz, at the same time, the way he played Keep Away is something I couldn't do. That's why I had a lot of respect for what he did there. Because Evil is one of the masters of pushing in and doing the same amount of damage. And Faz able to avoid that, showed great composure. But at the same time, my prediction was Evil, and I still have to side with Evil for Corrupted Cube.
Okay, well, I'm really looking forward to seeing how Faz plays it. I think, again, with the Anarchy, he really showed an amazing understanding of actually how to use the speed, because the problem with speed is that the problem of having a character that's loads of speed, everyone runs into this issue, is that you don't know when to press the off button. And you get yourself into all kinds of bad situations because you get too carried away. But again, Faz used it very well.
At the same time, what we've seen in the previous maps is when the Anarchy goes off the table, Faz gets in trouble. It is by far and away his most prolific and strongest champion. So as long as Evil can deal with that, he will then have a very good time against Faz. And I think the only time on DM6 he actually fragged the Anarchy was just that disgusting rocket we saw coming on the bridge. Apart from that, Faz played a flawless game. But on this map, it's definitely more difficult. And that's why I definitely think Evil, who's picking the Sorlag actually, will or should have the upper hand.
Yeah, it's going to be really interesting to see how things go as Evil reset his mentality. I imagine he will. He is a championship caliber player after all. But again, I do see, I mean, it would be really cool to see Faz sort of just break, as you say, this idea in our heads that's been sort of set in stone over the last 15 years of his career, where he's very good, he can absolutely make top 8s, but you rarely will see him in the finals of a major event. And so I would love to see Faz changing that storyline about himself, but we will have the warm-up beginning now on...
And this is exactly why we said at the start that he's one of those players you think, in your head, you're saying, yeah, why not? Faz top 4, he's a great player. But then when it comes to the execution, he's just a caliber down from the likes of the Evils and the Coolers and the Cyphers of the world. And it's something that's difficult to address, but if he can, then maybe he can be a championship caliber player in Cup Champions.
True. And this map kind of looks like a Dark Souls kind of map, and Faz is super good at Dark Souls, so
there we go.
That's my analysis.
Wow, go back to CS.
Well, it's like a good vantage point here for some rockets, but you can see the LG is pressing Evil back, as well as some globules of spit, acid spit. Globule, I'm not really a word I use very often.
Globules?
We'll come back to words later.
Faz starting with the Sorlag though, this is slightly unusual given that obviously the Anarchy's been the prime pick, but on this map I can definitely understand it, that it is close quarters and you want a tankier champion to really get in Evil's face. But Evil doing a great job in doing all the initial first damage as well as maintaining his stack. Get rid of that pot that's going to get in your way.
Bloody pots. You know, there's lots of pots of, I think we call them urns in Dark Souls, but enough about that. We've got the spit back in from Faz. And
are these new, by the way, all these urns?
What's that?
The pots and urns. I've never really seen them on the corners before.
I don't know. Not much into my urns.
Nice. That tracking was perfect.
Yeah, great positioning from Evil. He's really biding his time for quite a while there. Now he has a good opportunity to run those heavies should he like to do so. And they are 6 seconds apart, the heavy and the mega, so he can definitely get that cycle going. Faz, oh, he's got to be careful, he's so low. I mean, another couple of cells and he's going to be dead.
Yep, he's extremely low, cannot push out, already used his ability, still extremely low. If he gets caught at all, he will die. And already we're seeing Evil take a step up from the previous map.
Yeah, definitely looks more dominant at the moment. Faz really on the back foot. Getting chased back at the moment. Already lost the champion. Picks up a light here. Lots of speed, but can he get the positioning? Good rocket there for him.
Nice.
Follow-up will chip Evil away. Some vertical shots coming in from Faz now. Excellent rockets, good damage. The exchange is fantastic. Good string of LG. He knows that this is the time that he can press Evil to finish him off, but a good dire orb to allow an escape. But just a lick of LG there as Evil goes through the choke point will be the end of him, and that's now Evil onto the Nyx.
And it's a very precarious situation going down for that Mega when you have an opponent above you, because Faz just rained down the pain. So Evil probably should have forfeit that. It just wasn't worth his life at the end of the day. And he's already pushed, been forced out with the Ghost Walk. So this is Faz's opportunity to push in if he wants to. He should have time after getting this red armor to at least try and get Evil before the Ghost Walk comes back.
Yeah, it's looking really nice here for Evil, pushing Faz off the heavy. And again, Faz has just been on the back foot. It's such a stark difference to the DM Signal, or rather, sorry, the Blood Covenant that we saw, where Faz was sort of running circles around Evil. This is somewhat, this is Evil just playing positionally really well.
Yep, definitely composed after the initial mistake, being pretty stubborn and going for that Mega really when he should have done it. Wow, committing, over-committing.
Yeah.
And that's always a dangerous thing to do when the Anarchy has the ability up. Strange decision coming out from Evil there.
A sort of lack of focus maybe is sort of could cost him quite heavily. And this is a great headshot angle here that Faz is playing with. Gets the zoom damage up to 15 for the super machine gun, or heavy machine gun. I'm in the habit of calling things super because that's how it was in Quake World, Quake 1. Super nail gun,
heavy,
super shotgun and so on.
Yeah, it doesn't make too much difference, I guess.
To me it does. To me it's super important. Oh, see what I did there. See what I did there. Again, just using that zoom here, but couldn't get any connections. Faz taking a bit of damage from the LG of Evil.
And now the dilemma comes. You have 1 minute to go. Do you commit for items? Do you back off? And this is really the catch-22, because if you give everything up for free, you become a little bit of a plucked sitting chicken.
That said, he is on Anarchy, so he does have all that movement speed. He's got the inject still, waiting for the heavy. Oh, just about gets it. Uses the burst here of that speed from the inject to get himself out of dodge, as he now is going to be up against Sorlag, pressing the issue. Great rocket jump coming in from Evil, finishing Faz off, and that's exactly the situation you described.
Exactly, and even though, as you say, completely right, Anarchy has the speed, where are you going to go? The map is so small, it doesn't matter. And you can just get cornered in these rooms. This is why Anarchy is very vulnerable and a relatively risky pick, if not very effective as well on Corrupted Keep. But now Evil is fully stacked. Look at that lizard.
So what do you think about the dynamics between Nyx versus Sorlag here? You favorable one way or the other? Oh my days, that's some good damage there from Faz, and he'll know.
I always have to say I favor the Sorlag in this matchup. I mean, the spit is almost a guaranteed Ghost Walk buffer, if that makes sense. As soon as you pop it, if you hit, they have to pretty much definitely pop the Ghost Walk. And if you manage to force out the Ghost Walk before, then the spit is pretty much a guaranteed kill. So it's always a difficult life for Nyx, I'm finding, at Sorlag. And this is why Faz was unable to contest for either item and is living nice dangerously, just chilling in a hallway. I like the music.
Yeah, I was just appreciating it, you know, just you can listen to something nice instead of my voice. But we've got Evil there forcing the Ghost Walk without using the spit, so that's quite an interesting dynamic.
That's exactly what I mean. As soon as he pushes in now, if he hits the spit and a little bit of damage, like, it's almost guaranteed Nyx is dead because she is so weak.
So some cooldown bubbles collected by Faz there, knocking his cooldown to around 16 seconds.
But Faz has got a good position here. This is, I want to call it the cooler position. He always stands there and manages to hit a full rocket as you run through a doorway. And you have like a guaranteed back way to get out as well. Now that's nasty.
Ooh, Faz took
4 seconds.
Huge damage.
Evil doesn't know, and it's back up. So
Faz seems really screwed. Correct me if I'm wrong, so the sex. But he seems kind of screwed. What's this? He just charges in right now. What on earth is that? Balls to the wall aggression. I was just 5 seconds ago saying screwed. We're going to stack Sorlag on Evil, and then Faz just runs in.
He was
taking a direct rocket.
He was screwed.
How does that make sense?
Because he had Ghost Walk off cooldown. He knew he could push in, and he knew he would do a massive amount of damage. It was one of those balls that move, and it caught Evil off guard. It was a kind of a last chance saloon for Faz because he was being pressured all over the map.
Oh my god, taking a lot of damage in the back there was Evil. I don't think, no, he didn't get connected by the acid. I think, no, actually, maybe he did. And this is the Faz aggression coming in, finishing off Evil. The Mega's in 12 seconds. Faz is somewhat vulnerable here. If he doesn't pick up some health soon, he will do that immediately. And he's got just enough time to get onto one of the big items.
Yeah.
It's going to be split between the two players, however.
Faz should have gone down, extremely unlucky. I think he clipped something on the ceiling and Evil's rocket just missed. But I like those plays. Again, it's my kind of play style, going pretty risky, diving in a little bit. Dangerous at Quakecon in a tournament like this, but when it pays off, it feels really good.
Yeah, that's one of the things too. There's some of those effective styles. Sometimes you could, like, there's always a risk, and you can't always win the risk, but you can't be deterred from playing what is the optimal strategy for your style. So sometimes you just got to go for it, even if it's that one tournament per year.
Exactly, and it's like, I think we were speaking together off screen there. If you don't play that style, you're going to kick yourself. It's what you're used to in practice, and it's what's working out. Just, you have to go for it. You have to take those risks sometimes, and it's nice to see that Faz is doing that. But now Evil has managed to stabilize and done a great job of keeping away from Faz, because he's tried to keep the pressure on.
Oh, this is a sneaky play from Faz. The spit is going to land on Evil. He looks
dead.
He looks very dead. Oh, melting away, but the bubbles to save him up the jumper. That's not a good move, but for Faz, he's going to be loving it. Gets himself another pick off. That's just down to the Sorlag now for Evil.
Yeah, we've seen Sorlag on both sides struggling.
Oh, that's a good connection of damage there from Faz. He was in a lot of trouble. Another lick of the LG there to keep the pressure up.
Yeah, and like I was just saying, we've seen the Sorlag struggle for both players. The new patch with the power of the lightning gun, particularly with the tracking, Faz's aim has been on point as well. I could definitely see the Sorlag falling off the meta in this tournament, just because it's getting absolutely messed up by the lightning gun. But the spit is still very annoying as well, and powerful still.
And there goes the spit, and into the LG, and Evil absolutely fisted by Faz's Sorlag there as we go 2-0 now.
No, one more.
Prepare to fight.
Oh, that was Faz. Sorry, my bad. My bone melted for a second.
Round begins in.
Everything got melted. The spit went everywhere.
It did. I for some reason, I thought that we were on Evil's POV. I have no idea why.
Good damage to the sex. Come on.
Sorry, that's really bad.
And you're gonna get fired.
Oh wow.
It's fine. It's fine. I won't tell anyone.
Stream B.
Yeah, already on the B stream. Already fired, of course. Good connection from the acid. Looks like Faz wants to fire up Evil with that LG of his, and he's going to melt him.
I don't know how Evil did so much damage after getting caught completely off guard. It is that situation on the map, and it's a bit careless by Evil, where if you don't have the rocket spawn, it's pretty much definitely going to be camped. Faz did a good job of hiding around the corner, but Evil ran straight into it.
That rocket was close, man. If he released that slightly earlier, that would have been a very dead Evil, perhaps. But Evil is down to his last two champions after losing that one. Faz must feel pretty good. He's already up 2 rounds. Oh, getting caught there. Has to be very careful. Avoids the prediction rocket of Evil there around the corner, but Faz doesn't really have access to... Well, this is a good solution for not having access to the heavy. That was what I was worried about.
That was really innovative play, something I was particularly thinking about doing as well. Sorlag obviously with a much bigger stack doesn't take that much damage, but I think we have to see Evil's championship qualities coming out from him now. We know he has them. He's obviously a great player, hasn't been so prolific in Quake Champions yet, and this is the time he needs to come to the fore.
Oh, gets a great connection with the spit. Forces Evil to use the Dire Orb there, but Faz will make it work. He's looking absolutely phenomenal right now on this map. Corrupted Keep seems to be... Should be Faz's keep.
It should be Faz's keep. He is surprising me. The first round looked all Evil, and a couple of silly decisions cost him. Second round, Faz stepped it up, and once again here, a couple of really solid traps, keeping Evil down to his last champion, and he's pushing in for some serious damage.
Ooh, the Ghost Walk comes in, and Faz will go down.
Nice. Really nice. Yeah, I like seeing aggressive Ghost Walks. I think it's underutilized if you're just keeping it for defense, so perfect play.
Yeah, the few duels I played, it's always for offense. Oh, the pop-up! This is problematic. Evil's down to 23, but he does a great deal of damage there. But still, looks like Faz beat it to the point. Oh my god, how was he alive? 8 points of health. Picks up the heavy now as he tries to escape. Faz knows he's weak, but Faz can't possibly push the issue. He himself knocked down quite low, and
Evil's crazy. I was willing him not to go. I was certain he was going to die, but
that's the last hero as champion.
Exactly. It somehow paid off.
Oh man.
Play to win, man. Play to win.
Seriously, that is what Evil's about. He He is that mentality through and through. That's why he can win tournaments. He's not afraid of anything. His back is against the wall right now. Last champion. Oh, that's a good connection. 43 damage done. Knocks Evil away.
He plays to win, and this is perhaps a slight downfall in Quake Champions in that it's a much more effective style in Quake Live. But if it doesn't work out in Quake Champions, you can see what happens. You just go down to your last champion at the end of the day.
And here it comes, Faz going for the Mega, locking Evil away, forcing him back through to the light, through to the heavy position. And that's where Faz wants him. Coming in with the speed of Anarchy. And with the fury of the rocket launcher, but the force of the Ghost Wolf misses out on the heavy. Now Faz could be in trouble with this Anarchy. He's got to get to safety, he's got to stack back up, but Evil surely is hot on his heels.
What a well-timed Ghost Walk coming out of Evil there. Rocket went through the smoke puff as he disappeared. Houdini-esque.
And now Faz is starting to stack up a bit more. He's got himself a light. He's managed to evade Evil, who was pressing the issue, knowing that Faz was weak, but you can't overextend here. You've still got to pick up items, still have to maintain positional superiority.
The problem Evil's facing now is that he's finding it difficult to actually get any damage on Faz outside of the item pickups, and that's where Faz is taking the initiative. Evil needs to try and get a few more aggressive positions. I know he's weak, but he also only has, he does have 1 minute to go.
Evil doing a good job keeping Faz down at the moment. Might be able to get himself onto the next heavy and trying to also pressure the Mega as well. Could even get a kill here potentially. Faz
that was lucky.
Has to go for the heavy now. He's committed.
Yeah, that was very lucky for Evil because that could well have been direct. 25 seconds gone. 30 to go now.
The Faz is definitely playing defense here. Massive defense, trying to run that clock down. Can Evil do it again? Can he do it a second time?
We need one of those final clutch Evil plays.
Last time it was a rocket pop to rail combo that got Evil from a map losing position into a win.
15 seconds. This is the most usual camping position. This is where he should be checking right now. Everybody comes here.
And also
he's gone. Anarchy's too quick.
Yeah, he's too quick. He can use his rocket jumps as well, potentially to get that additional speed. And
that is GG.
Gonna be the GG. Faz 3-0, making it look very easy. In fact, there should be a statue erected for him and his performance there on the corrupted keep. Evil just couldn't quite seem to get his number. Faz looks really dominant.
I felt very confident for Evil going into the first round. And then just thinking back, there was a few very strange decisions, like standing around for the Mega, being very, very stubborn. Like, it's not Quake Live. You don't have to bully your way in. If it's not in your favor, just leave it. Simple as that. And that cost him. Then trying to push out when just after he stabilized, we were saying how good he was playing. He then tries to push into a narrow doorway as a Nyx with an Anarchy on the other side, who, if he wants to, can retreat and heal up with the ability. And after that, he just crumbled a little bit. Faz played well. I think Evil played into his hands a little bit, went a bit too aggressive on a few items, and I think he needs to sit back and refine what the priorities are in Quake Champions. For me, I felt he overemphasized the rotation a little bit. And in doing so, threw away a few of his champions needlessly. And then when he's on the back foot and he's forced to press, that's when Faz was able to capitalize. So very solid play from Faz, and it just shows that at this level, when you have a few mistakes, even coming out from the likes of Evil, who is normally kind of like the most faultless player in the game, it can cost you. And he just needs to reassess the way in which to play Quake Champions, because it's not quite clicking for him.
Yeah, we definitely saw the intelligence of Faz, really. And that's when we did the pre-game, that's something that it's what encourages me in this game, where you don't have to have that insane consistency to the mechanics. Obviously, it's really important, but at the same time, it's also really important to just call out, like, make a good call after good call onto how you should play positionally and how you should read the situation. And we didn't really see Faz falter too much. Generally speaking, a lot of the situations where Evil got ahead was by the nature of just hitting just something ridiculous.
It was ridiculous. And Evil's mechanical skill was just out of this world. They're still crazy good. And if he refines those last few points about how to play this game, because it is different and he's still adjusting, he's obviously not had as much time as the people, I definitely think he can really push it for the top 4. He's got a long road ahead out the group, but he played very, very well, and all kudos to Faz for just taking this one home.
Well, there's still so much more Quake to be played, but it's time for us to take a quick break. We'll see you back here soon for more Quake Live action on the B-Stream. Quake Live, Quake Champions.
One of the things that's great about working with AMD and this new partnership we have is sort of recommitting ourselves to bringing the best out of Vega cards and unlocking all the things that they can do for our games. For a gamer, Stepping up to a Vega card is like having terrible vision and putting on a pair of glasses. The level of fidelity and performance you're going to get out of a Vega card, it's like you're playing video games again for the first time.
Hello and welcome to the second stream, or as I like to call it, the best stream. You are with Zoot and Tosspot as we're about to bring you Gelasek versus Kilson in the duel. Zoot, what have you seen? What do you like so far today?
Well, I mean, we probably shouldn't dwell on it too long, but I thought that Tox versus Razy was just an unbelievable way to have your debut performance on an international LAN. So Razy having beaten him, I mean, before we even get into Kilson versus Gelasek, that is just unbelievable on so many levels. We thought that this online performance at the regionals was just a fluke, and there were some issues, and you know there was the Zen feeling from Tox and maybe mouse problems or something like that. But no, Razy did it for real, and I saw a tweet from Ince earlier saying, "Is this a legend in the making?" I mean, I guess we got plenty of time to find out later in the tournament. I don't know what you thought actually about that.
Well, I want to speak for everyone on the internet who's been asking the hard-hitting questions, Zoot. Are you related to Razy?
What is this? You've been saying that it is some kind of amalgamation of multiple characters, often including me. I don't know yet. I'm not sure. Maybe we need some kind of like
related to
we need some like picture by picture.
Sounds like
I'm not
someone
Hungarian.
dodging the question.
I'm not Hungarian.
Let's move on to the big match that we have in front of us. Kilson versus Gelasek, two great names, much storied. What are your favorite stories about these two?
Well, I know a lot more about Kilson than Gelasek, admittedly. I know Gelasek's been on the CPMA side, but Kilson is the most celebrated German player that there is in the scene. He's had lots of successes over the last 5 to 10 years. He's been missing a real victory, a LAN victory in recent times. But at the moment, it's something which his rail aim is he's famed for, and you can see him there on the left, of course, sponsored by Euronics Gaming as well. Unfortunately, wasn't able to make it through on the sacrifice, but I know that he has been really doing so much homework on the game, practicing so hard. I know it means so much to him as well to get a good result at the Quake World Championships. I see him going a long way in this tournament.
Gelasek on the other side, big painkiller player, particularly in the earlier stops in that World Tour, and really was kind of like Vu's sparring body for a long time in the early days of the 2 CPM stars coming into the Painkiller World Tour, and then in the end fell, as did Vu, to the American champion, the champion of 18 million World Championships was Fatality. Now, in this one, you mentioned to me before we came on stage that when you chatted to Kilson, there was one player he was worried about facing.
Well, there's Rafa and Gelasek. These are the two.
One that we happen to have in front of us.
Yeah, sorry, just to keep things as topical as possible. But it's just funny that he didn't say Dahang. Because you'd always put Dahang and Rafa in a similar kind of picture, but Gelasek is someone who's like, this could be a concern. It could raise alarm bells. So I know he's never going to be cocky, and he's going to take every single opponent as seriously as possible, especially when you've got this kind of money at stake. So I'm very curious how he's going to approach it, considering if Gelasek has got this painkiller CPM background, can we expect some fast moves with the Anarchy and with the Sorlag, which could maybe be troublesome at all?
Well, what I like about Quake Champions is it kind of lets all different move sets, all different Quake religions come together and play in one way. Gelasek starts strong in the new games. He always dips his toe in. Every time there's a new title in, he dips his toe in, and he's just so naturally talented. We're going to take a look at the maps now, actually, straight up. Walk us through.
Let's take a look, Kilson, on Blood Covenant. I think a pretty staple map. Is really good for the railgun. There's a lot of open spaces, and it's part of the map where you can control that weapon a lot, even though the lightning gun seems to be raising in the meta a little more. I think Kilson is a very good, strong map for him, but also for any kind of CPMA-based champions. Also works well. He's got plenty of space to move around. But it's Gelasek who's actually picking Blood Run, which I find interesting, as if you are playing an Anarchy, then going up against a Galena, against Totems, there is ways to counter that. Finally, Ruins of Sarnath, I think, a map that could suit both players at the end of the day. There is rail, there's open spaces to work with, there's plenty of space to move around as well, with a lot of hourglasses to pick up to reduce the cooldown on your abilities.
Now, Kilson has many an accolade to himself. I first saw him perform well back at Gamescom Leipzig in a Code 5 tournament which he won inside a tiny little hall where, because it was you couldn't actually get in because it was a shooter tournament at Gamescom. And that was kind of, well, he had been around a long time before then anyway, but rose up to stardom post then. Will that kind of championship experience favor him? Gelasek, no stranger to this arena, but Kilson places high historically.
Yeah, I think so. Being able to have that mindset where you can go against and have that psychological strength to work in these situations can be favorable. Obviously, they're not on the big stage right now, so you don't have all the physical eyes on you at the same time, but it's definitely going to help, although I'm sure Gelasak is going to be no foreigner to these kind of high-stress situations.
All right, well, I'm going to ask you to put your money where your mouth is, as I have done all day long, and I haven't had to make a single prediction, which is great. Who's going to take this one?
Kilson.
All right, well, in 2 or 3?
In 2.
In 2, there you go. Confidence. Confidence thus far has been the name of the game, and Kilson will face a Gelasak who I would imagine feels pretty confident himself. Has nothing to lose.
That's true.
He comes in as people are fans of his, but not necessarily do they have expectations of him.
I mean, that's it. Maybe I'll be eating my words a little bit later. I to some extent, maybe go on the bias of EU owning NA. But I really hope we see some exciting performances from him. And he can do whatever he likes. He can be as crazy and as fast and as aggressive as possible. And, I mean, see if we can get into Kilson's head a little bit.
All right, well, we're going to get this game started any second now. We are underway. And let's go. Walk us through the champion selections.
Yeah, let's take a look. We should have them up at the top in just a moment. We've got Kilson with Nyx, Slash, and Ranger. And we have got the Anarchy Solag that I was predicting you get in that sort of painkiller CPMA background, plus the Ranger as well. Nyx and Anarchy, though, being our first matchup.
Kilson licks Gelasak with that opening LG exchange and forces him elsewhere. Gelasak just playing a cautious game. Those first 2 rockets from Kilson do a phenomenal amount of damage, and that will be welcome to the game.
I mean, you often take Anarchy because you can easily escape from the situations that you get yourself into and avoid taking damage, but there just wasn't any time whatsoever. 1 rocket immobilized him, the second killed him.
That will be a real confidence booster for the Gemma, but waiting from behind is Gelasak, double rocket, and that'll be the end of Kilson, and we'll tie ourselves up to a frag apiece.
Interesting to see Kilson using Slash. It's not actually a champion I've seen him use loads and loads, but does work very well on this map, and let's see what kind of speed he can offer us, and if anything reminiscent of what we were getting from Tox earlier. Gelasak, though, receiving 1 rail, make that a second. You trust Kilson to land all of these shots, especially against a target as large as Solag. But Gelasak is tentative about moving back in.
Yeah, and he got himself out of there nicely. He was just making sure it wasn't covered of his hip. Wow. Lovely falling double rocket. The first one on his head, the second one right up against the wall, and Kilson eliminated.
All right, Tosbot, I might need to hold heavy on any of these predictions anymore because Gelasak's looking really nice at the moment. His aim is on point, loving his positioning and just his reactive plays.
More specific than just his aim is on point, his rocket is on tip-top form.
That's it, and it's absolutely crucial. Can do so much damage with that gun, and if you're able to slow down an opponent, and as I was saying, immobilize them, you really can do anything you want with them. Your opponent, that is, your prey.
Well, here we go. Kilson with 1 life left. 1 champion left.
Well, definitely a nice champion to use. You've got a lot of mobility with the dire orb that you can use and teleport to the location. With that added chance that you can even teleport inside the opponent and or perforate them and kill them no matter what their stack is. He just walks right past Solag. Doesn't take much damage, could count himself a little bit lucky there, as you can see the health and armor below the character boxes at the top. You can see that Gelasak has a lot of it available.
Big hit from Gelasak, 90 from afar, nicely done as he'll now look to hound out and finish off Kilson if he can. He smells blood, he smells a round win.
But he's got
escape.
Yeah, that armor's going to be up in a moment, and this should surely signal to him, all right, go time. He might be baiting it, actually. That could be very intelligent of him, but obviously giving away his location now.
It is go time, and the rockets are going to keep Kilson away. There's the rail to try and finish him off. 1 more, and he's gone. Surely Kilson still somehow alive. Escapes with just 1 bar, and Gelasak is hunting. And Kilson rockets himself out, almost kills himself in the process, but does escape and lives to fight another day.
Well, this is good map control as well from Gelasak. I actually almost really like what he did against Kilson and the armor, not taking himself to maximum damage, but look at this response from Kilson. He's missing very important rails. It's uncharacteristic of him to miss rails on a target the size of a Zeppelin.
There is no armor on Gelasak right now. Kilson has an opportunity here as Gelasak will be waiting for him with 3 rockets, and that will be that. Nice play from Galasek. More importantly, I have a feeling all 3 kills came with the rocket launcher.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. And that last trap right at the end, Kilson just walked right into it, and it seemed so easy for him. Kilson's got to wake up a little bit because Galasek does not seem to be any kind of easy player to go against. And I've got to say, I'm already very impressed with his performance.
Yeah, no slouches, Galasek. His rocket placement's been magnificent. And here we are with his weapon of choice already and underway for round 2.
Kilson's just waiting for him to come down to the LG, assuming that he's going to want to pick it up at some point. He's not getting any love just then, though. And will slowly make his way around to other weapons. Galasek guarding that railgun in case Kilson hasn't got it already, knowing that he's going to want to fetch it. And an early use of the Ghost Walk. Nothing really achieved. I guess he does avoid almost certain death from a rail. He needs a health bubble. If you're 80 health or collective health and armor or less, then a rail will kill you. And you want to keep your life as long as possible.
Here comes that exchange. Rockets raining down from Kilson onto Galasek, who will help himself to a 25 of armor and allow Galasek to escape, but Kilson will be above him because he goes over towards the armor. Now Kilson is waiting, 1 rail on. Can he finish off? Galasek's going into it. Boom! Galasek, 2 rails. Kilson brought out the LG when dropping down. Your thoughts on that exchange?
Well, there was no range. Lightning gun is a sort of a short to medium range weapon, and you don't do any damage whatsoever, even if your crosshairs right on them at long distances. And he was just faffing about changing weapons, whereas Galasek was just thinking, well, I'm gonna get my crosshair on you and kill you. That's something you don't want to reflect on too much right away, because it's almost an embarrassing frag to have against you.
Well, so far, so good for the Canadian here. And the pair of them will exchange rails once again. And Kilson rockets up him. Once you go up, you become very vulnerable. And this is going to surely be a Galasek finishing him off. And no, Kilson somehow escapes. But this is looking very good for Galasek.
It actually really is. We saw some double backs from Kilson, trying to buy himself some space on the map and play with his mind a bit. Rocket's not going to land. 19 damage, not going to be enough. Almost getting a crazy angle just then. Is he going to be able to read where Kilson's going now?
Big hit from the rail there.
Wow.
There you go.
He's landing all the important shots at the moment. This is, again, just continuation. There just seems to be no second thoughts as to whether or not he's capable of doing it. He is just going for it.
Yeah, Galasek looks confident. Kilson looks uncomfortable.
Yeah. In a nutshell, absolutely. He's definitely not come out of his shell so far. His rails aren't really connecting that much. And at this stage, 2.5 minutes left in the round, Galasek doesn't need to force a frag. He's put himself in such a comfortable position.
On board with Kilson.
I think he might have just seen him cross on the left, so he's definitely gonna check it. But again, rockets. Okay, on this occasion, it's Kilson who's landing the strong rockets, and he's gonna get himself his first frag of the round.
3 rockets does the job. Helps himself to health and armor as well. He'll now go hunting for his way back into round 2.
This is a huge stack as well for him to have. Although he is going up against a Sorlag who's got his ability available. You can see that little tick at the bottom of the Sorlag box. That's a signal that acid spit damage could be at the ready. Now they're just wandering slowly around the map, but that's noise, the sound cue.
Nicely done there. Just almost an assassination coming from behind. Didn't see him and was able to help himself to a lot of unanswered health or unanswered attack. And now Galasek is on the run from a very hungry German.
And that is actually really good timing on the items as well for Kilson, because there's no Mega immediately available for Galasek. He can't top up his health up too much right now. It means that Kilson's going to be able to continue rotating those items, the big items at least, himself, and keep pushing that pressure onto Galasek. He's got a minute to get 1 frag, and Galasek's going to be trying to survive desperately at the moment.
And Galasek needs to play Kilson, he needs to play the clock. He's in no hurry, he's up here, and he just needs to take away this momentum, but there it is! What a hit from Kilson, talk me through it.
That's just the die roll by there, and that was phenomenal accuracy from Kilson. You can do an infinite amount of damage with that weapon if you're getting the right trajectories, you're making the right predictions, and all of a sudden Kilson has turned around on its head, and he is going to tie it up.
Talk us through kind of the round form and how that played out there in front of us, because Galasek had momentum in his back pocket, but the reset to the round changed everything.
Yeah, no, completely. What happened is if there was a 2-0, Gelisak was in a huge advantage. But he wasn't really being able to play the defensive position. The first frag, he was sitting up at the top by where you'd normally see the power-up spawn. Kilson knew he was there, so his position wasn't really securely covered. He's not giving himself the escape routes that well. And when you're looking at the clock ticking down and thinking, oh, I'm almost winning the round, that's when it gets most nerve-wracking. And maybe touching on those points you brought up earlier regarding management of those stressful tournament situations.
On board with Kilson as he chases Gelisak and evades. Gelisak is going to get himself out of harm's way rather than come back for a second bite of the cherry.
Spots him a little bit underneath, but looks like Gelisak doesn't favor this engagement. When you're going up against someone on a high ground, unless you're going to be just abusing the lightning gun, you're probably not going to do yourself many favors.
I like this from Gelisak. He didn't pick a fight that he knew he couldn't win, and he did not waste anything here. But now Gelisak will escape as Kilson comes from behind now. LG to LG. Gelisak's down to 35 points of health. Quickly bubbles up, but he's going to have to get himself away because Kilson has the stack advantage.
I mean, there was good and bad things there for Gelisak. Good, he forced the Ghost Walk out. Bad, he took a lot of damage, and right there is the climax of it. Kilson with perfect rockets, and now his Ghost Walk's back up. So it seems that Kilson's starting to get into things. Maybe seem to be surprised by the quality of Gelisak's plays early on, but is adapting nicely.
Well, Kilson's done a lot of damage there. He's now looking to finish off Gelisak. Can he do it? Oh, you bet he can! Gelisak falling backwards and is plucked out of the sky by the rail of Kilson. And, well, Kilson is coming stronger and stronger as we go on. What I will say is different from round 1 all the way through to round 3 is Gelisak landed almost every rocket in round 1. Now he's not.
Yeah, Kilson's switching up his playstyle pretty nicely. He's not putting himself in such vulnerable positions for the rockets. And if anything, Gelisak seems like he's using the rockets less. Maybe he should just stick with what he's been getting his successes with. Kilson, though, has only got 100 collective health and armor. Gelisak got plenty of time to engineer some form of a comeback, but he doesn't need to rush it. There's no need to just get into a fight right away. Pick your resources first.
Kilson a win away from winning the round.
And I would put him on map point as well, which he would certainly expect to be seeing soon. Wow. That retaliation from Ghost, that was actually a fantastic read. Unfortunately, he wasn't able to execute, and Kilson's just going to push around the corner, grab himself another kill, and that's going to make it 2-1.
Talking about those rockets, X% of all rocket shots are somewhat predictable. You know, the second shot is certainly predictable. You hit the first one, you're going to bounce. You know where you're bouncing to. The second one's there. Kilson, in avoiding the rockets, has avoided that second one, and has nullified what Gelisak was doing so well.
Yeah, completely. And that's it. You've hit the nail right on the head. If you can avoid that first one, then you're not going to be immobilized, and you're going to be able to dodge a little bit better. And maybe Gelisak needs to put his focus back on that. But it's tricky, though. It's not really the fault of Gelisak if Kilson's modifying his positions favorably.
Let's see whether there's an answer here, because Kilson is certainly asking some questions now of Gelisak. We're on board with him, and there are those 2 rockets sent down in Kilson's direction, but Kilson didn't go down to the armor in the end, and thus didn't get it. Rail hit by Gelisak. He will take a slender lead here as Kilson had to escape to pick up health. Still has no armor. There's an opportunity now as Gelisak tries to drop a rocket down. Kilson's waiting for him, coming out with the LG. Oh, in the end, neither will really come out of that one with a win.
That was, again, decent. Whenever you're forcing out that Ghost Walk from the Nyx, you're giving yourself a time limit where they're very vulnerable with their small health and armor stack. And hitting a rail just then, he should push this, but that rocket from Kilson is huge because it then makes Gelisak so vulnerable. Both of these squishy champions cannot afford to take these big hits.
Here it is. They are raining rockets on top of each other, and if there was a rocket headshot, I think it was that. As Gelisak connects and now looks for more. That LG tearing through Kilson, and that will be 2 quick frags for Gelisak.
Very nicely done.
Oh, this could be 3! He's got it, and he's turned this round right on its head. Ties us up at 2-2. Kilson, almost unfortunate with those spawns. He shots right on top of an LG twice.
I mean, a wonderful play there from Gillisack to take advantage. I think Kilson had the chance to dire orb away, but he almost just dire orbed into the action further and just sacrificed himself for what turned out to be absolutely nothing whatsoever. So put themselves on to the 5th round here of map 1. This is already pretty tense and close. Honestly, I'm struggling to call it right now, even based on predictions made earlier. To hell with it.
Well, anything that takes us to 5 rounds, I'm happy with.
What usually at this stage and the patterns that you get in online is the later you're going into the duels and the more rounds you're going to, the slower it usually ends up getting as the rounds matter more and more. So I would expect that we don't see a frag immediately. But you know what, I might just be massively wrong.
Commentator's curse almost. Kilson dropped down to 27 points as Valve has to escape, and will do so because Gillisack was booming in on frag number 1.
Yeah, that was close. 25 health bubble, putting himself in a bit more of a comfortable position, but he either needs to avoid combat completely or he just needs to get some hourglasses and ensure that his cooldown is ready for the next fight. And Kilson can breathe a sigh of relief of Ghost Walk.
Oh, that rail will start things nicely for Gillisack. The second follows up as well. Kilson's in trouble. And right as Zoot said, he had picked up some hourglasses and he was ready to escape.
That's it. And story rewinds once again. He's very vulnerable. I don't think he really needed to use the Ghost Walk last time around. He actually dodged the rail, but it was almost kind of instinctive that sort of that panic mode just sets in just a little bit. There should be some more hourglasses available behind him, but he's happy to keep this more front-facing position. Amazing rockets there from Gillisack. With 3 seconds left, he's going to go back in. He hasn't got his Ghost Walk up. And that was an awful move from Kilson in the end. Did not need that aggression.
To be honest, I was surprised both of them went back in. Neither went into that exchange, into that final exchange with much to play with, but they went for broke, and it was Gillisack who came out on top. You don't buy a ticket, you don't win the lottery. Gillisack in round 5 is up 1 frag to 0. Opportunity here for Kilson coming from behind. Double rocket from Gillisack, and Kilson, well, that was his moment, surely.
That was absolutely it. He felt that he just got him by surprise for a moment, but Gillisack responding flawlessly. And we have just got the Ranger, and he's just going to be able to find Gillisack just then. I don't know if he wanted to be a part of that. Kilson's just rushing him for some reason. He hasn't got his dire orb up. There it is, the injection. He's going to use it. Can he get the LG out in time? He just about makes it, and Gillisack destroys him in this round.
Yeah, from Kilson there, you kind of saw the same problem we saw in the first round that kind of repeated itself, where Kilson's move for Kilson's predictions, they weren't quite there and he didn't look comfortable. And Gillisack, again, rocket back on point and picked up the win.
So, what I don't understand is why Kilson decided he needed to be so aggressive right at the end. It was really completely unnecessary. You have got several minutes of gameplay per round, and he's trying to fit everything into the 10 seconds time or something like that.
Well, it's one of those ones where, like, a player of my ability, for example, it's like, I'm sure I've got him on lower health than I actually have, and he didn't. I think my amateur guess would be that he thought he had Gillisack on much lower health than he actually had.
I mean, it definitely looks that way. I would be surprised if Kilson sort of, if he took a moment to think it out, he's got to have known that there was not going to be on a very weak stack. Maybe felt that when Gillisack's using the injection, that he's not going to have enough time to shoot afterwards, that he's going to be able to take down the rest of his health with the LG. But that response right at the end from Gillisack is what won him the round. I'm still kind of confused as to why Kilson played that way there.
So you've now seen Gillisack probably for one of the first times. Your thoughts on him?
Awesome. I'm so glad that we're seeing him play this kind of way. I know we make plenty of jokes of EU owning NA, and I'll repeat it a million times throughout the weekend, but it just brings a lot of happiness to me to see a Gillisack as well among over many other North American players that you can see doing possibly well, particularly in Quake Live Duel. It's great that Gillisack is one of those people who is up there and really going up against some of the hardest hitting Europeans we've got.
Well, map number 2 is going to be Blood Run. What would you see Kilson do differently?
Well, I wonder if he's going to change up his champion pool a bit. We have seen Galena used quite a bit, and then when you're going up against someone who likes to use Anarchy, typically as first pick, then it's something that can be favorable, as it stops them being able to move the round quite so quickly and just bending around corners all the time. All of a sudden, that means the Anarchy's got to watch out for a totem, because that's 75 damage done, and that is enough to kill them if they haven't got any armor at all. So maybe that could be something that gets involved. Otherwise, he's really just got to tone down his aggression, be patient, and pick his fights a bit better.
Now this is a map where you can have a rocket waiting for you in every corner if you're too quick, if you're too eager. But that wasn't Galasak's style with the rocket. Galasak's style was that he was going head for him and he timed his charges to perfection. So let's see what we see.
Well, we are Galasak to begin with, going up against the Ranger. There is a Galena picked by Kilson, but Galena is just going to murder him right off the get-go. Galena now picked. Is there I think we may have just seen a totem used very quickly, but I think I blinked and I missed the action, but Galasak already going to have to be very aware of that, and we should notice a sudden change of pace from that.
Well, I haven't quite taken my seat having seen that first frag. Galasak patiently waiting, collects the Mega, gets himself out of there, and Kilson connects with a few, and then the rails there, but didn't actually hit. And now let's see whether he, with his own rail, can hit. It can! Can he finish off Kilson? Kilson escapes in the end.
Very strong rail just then from Galasak. It did really secure him that armor. And now there's 15 seconds between the two major items. That we should see a few moments, well, at least a couple of rotations where Galasak is securing everything. Right now, being able to guard the Mega. And he's so afraid of a rail or a rocket coming down, he forces the injection out. So he's not going to have that for quite a few moments.
But he's still going to chase out, and his first and second rockets connect, and his LG finishes off the job. Galasak starting as he finished the last.
Now, again, you see that Kilson moved into the fight just then, going around it. What is happening with these rockets as well? Just missing the rail. We're again getting some really uncharacteristic aggression from Kilson, almost as if he feels he deserves to be getting the frags, but he's not. He's going to have to fight for them and earn them himself.
Kilson was down on like 2 health there as well, and that could have been round 1. Galasak, beautiful timing on those 2 rockets. Let's see whether he can finish off the job here, as his next rocket takes Kilson down to 15, and his LG will complete. That is Galasak, round 1 up against Kilson, and he is wasting no time here.
Yeah, Kilson is staring death in the face at the moment. He does not want this. He's expecting. Maybe it's unfair for me to say expecting round of 16. I know he's working hard for it, but he's someone who will be surprised if he's not able to make it to that distance. So he's going to have to tone it down completely at the moment. You've got to remember, he's sharing a group with Tom Servo and Python. Python being one of the best Australian players. I would be very careful if I were Kilson at the moment, because you could be destroying your tournament lifeline if you're not able to get more successes in this match versus Galasak.
Well, here we go. LG coming up, and here we go. It's going to be a big opportunity here for Kilson. In fact, he forces Galasak down to no armor in this exchange, and he's going to continue to pick a few shots up as Galasak wants that armor, isn't going to be able to get it, and Kilson, beneath it, having had the Mega, has plenty to play with, and will take the armor himself after Galasak left it.
That's smart. That's patience that we're seeing from Galasak. He didn't have to force his way onto the armor and put himself at risk just then. He's very happy to see Kilson getting it himself. But can he survive the fight? Not quite.
I feel maybe you cursed him.
Yeah, I think I did just then, because he walked right back into the room and just died immediately, which is not what I would have prescribed him. But at least we saw something there that we've not seen a lot of from Kilson.
So Kilson has the first frag of round 2. And let's see, maybe it was a case of that first frag in round 1 just threw him on tilt.
It's possible. We have got a lot of emotional players in this tournament, but at this stage you've got to put everything like that aside. And you've got to have your eyes on the prize, essentially.
And how much is the prize up for competition this week?
Well, you want to get to top spot in the duel, you're looking at 100k to get that, and that is a nice chunk of change for these players, more than any Quake dueler will have competed for.
Here we go, Galasak being forced back by Kilson, and just as Galasak was escaping, there was a rail that followed him. But held himself up, and now we'll push in, and the charge from Kilson is on, and much more composed.
Yeah, that was a lot better. Picks his fight very well just then. Gelasak had a very limited amount of health on that occasion, and his lightning gun looked very strong. Kelson's thing, is he trying to bait in the lower armor? Not going to mean anything to him just then. And although Gelasak is 2 champions down halfway through, he's not giving up on this. There is still time for sure, even if it means waiting until the last 15 seconds, you can still do it.
Gelasak helps himself to 40 points of health now. He's going to go chasing. Possibly didn't need to, but did land a rail with it. Forces Kilson away. Kilson has just a little bit more health than Gelasak, but there is a fight here if he can hit the first shot.
He needs to get some health. There we go. Squeaky bum time when I see people who are on 80 health or less, just because, especially when you're going up against a player like Kilson, that rail could be anywhere.
And Kilson hasn't been able to really heal himself up, so there is a window of opportunity for Gelasak now, but he is waiting to take it, and Kilson does get armor and does get health, and that window has closed.
Working with that overstack at the moment. Will slowly tick down, but Kilson in the driving seat doesn't need to force the fight. He is happy to see that clock get to 5 minutes. It's going to be Gelasak in the next 30 seconds or so. Gelasak's going to have to start forcing a fight, especially when he's got to get rid of that Ghost Walk first, and then chase, and make a good read. He does Dire Orb up to the top, so he's lost that mobility for the moment, and Kilson might regret being on here, actually.
A lot of damage done by Gelasak. Gelasak smells blood as he looks to go down. And Kilson's rail was waiting for him as Gelasak took a moment to breathe. And it ties us up at 1-1. And these two going round for round.
Beautiful. I actually don't mind the move that Gelasak made just then. If he was a couple of seconds faster or was able to make a prediction on where Kilson would have been post Ghost Walk, then that could have panned out a little differently. Just a ballsy play, and obviously with less than a minute to go, you got to do something.
Yeah, the clock. Big factor for him there as well. And you can see he who frags first so far has won all of the rounds.
That's a good observation though. I had not noticed.
No spring chicken.
It's a bit more tentative now from these players. He says as Gelasak rushes towards him. Go.
There are the first licks from that LG of Kilson, and the rail on Gelasak, and Gelasak's in real trouble now as he looks to escape, collect some health, but Kilson is waiting for him with a rocket.
That was close. I can almost sort of feel Kilson's smile just growing larger as each rail he hits lands.
Is it a smile or a smirk?
It starts as a smirk, and then as the angle sort of moves upwards, then it turns to a smile. But he needs that to build his confidence. If he's hitting bad rail, then, I mean, he just wants to uninstall then.
Gelasak with no patience whatsoever, but gets in and out with the armor. Nicely done. It took him a lot of health to lose, but if nothing else, he denied Kilson that fight.
Good work with the rail from Gelasak. Another shot would force out the Ghost Walk. He can't find it, but that's all right for the time being. Has he got his mind on the item? No, he doesn't, and that missed rail means that Kilson's going to comfortably jump down and pick up the Mega himself. If he had the lightning gun out, though, that could have been a different story. Got to be ever so careful with the weapon you choose to have out. If you shoot that rail and you miss, you're not going to be able to re-equip a different weapon for the best part of a second, which is years in Quake time.
Wow! Big hit from Gelasak from afar. That rail dispatches of Kilson. And this map has opened up, and we've already been playing for some 2 minutes as well.
He's now there. It's going to be Kilson who's going to be forced to make a move at some point. But with many seconds, he can put some totems around. Although having totems in these open spaces, maybe not advised so much, just because it's easier to find them and get rid of them with 50 damage done from any weapon. But if he is able to land some sneaky totems, then that's going to be very good. Pressure down at the bottom on the lightning gun. And actually, Gelasak, forced to use the injection, isn't able to do much of that fight. He's going to be disappointed to have failed just and having gotten Kilson so low. Ow, that lightning gun, it burns so hard. And Kilson bringing all the 7s out.
Gelasak's going to be so mad. He'll have felt in that first exchange he could have won it, and then in that second, That LG just denied him like any ability to move and pick up the fight that he wanted. And you can just, we've all been there. His blood is going to be boiling at this moment in time. He's got to calm it down, and he's got to know that he's still in this. There's only one champion down.
Yeah, as long as he's got his mind on the timings and he's able to steal at least one of these major items, preferably the armor at this stage, then he's in a good position to set up for a fight. But he's got to be wary. He's right to the left of him. Is he going to notice him? No, he's not. LG comes out. Dirob's going to miss completely, and Kilson is going to pick up round 3.
You know what I really like there? Kilson waited.
Yeah.
Gelasek came out and there was like 5 seconds where Kilson waited just to make sure that when he opened up with the best possible shot. And he got it, and he finished off calmly.
I like it, and that's some patience that we've not really been seeing from Kilson otherwise, and we're finally seeing him make some really calculated decisions. Gelasek there moving at the speed of light to secure that first armor. He's going to drop back down and regret being anywhere near him.
Yeah, Kilson doing a lot of damage with that LG early on. And if our last round was nice and calm, this one has been anything but.
Yeah, completely. I think it's now time for Gelasek to lick his wounds a bit, go back to the outskirts of the map. He does not want to face up against Kilson just yet. Kilson. Spidey senses tingling. Oh, I like the jump, but actually the response from Gelasek is wonderful. Is Gelasek even going to go for the armor? I love that there from Kilson. A rocket jump to wall climb from Nyx.
Gelasek will know that he's lost that, and he'll wonder where can he find the German next. As Gelasek is actually coming around now, sees that rocket, and that'll force him back. And think, oh, big hit.
Whoa, I thought it was more.
Yeah.
It felt like it would have been a deeper thud.
Mega contested, and Gelasek needs to be a ghost at the moment.
Feels like he has been. Okay, he sees the armor up. I was worried that his timing was a bit off. He knows what's going on. He's just not really able to react on the items or set up for them the way he wants to. He almost seems afraid of the presence that Kilson's got on Blood Run.
And here is that LG of Kilson. Does a world of damage, but Gelasek still has enough health to play with. Kilson will go down again. Rail onto Gelasek. Gelasek's got next to nothing left. But Kilson has the Mega for his troubles as well. And now we'll go looking for the finisher.
It's really weird for Kilson to choose to use... Okay, we've got a response there for Gelasek for a moment. I was going to say, it's strange to use the Ghost Walk, which... Well, it didn't matter if he could hear the Ghost Walk or see the Ghost Walk being used, but he heard the bounce pad being used, so it's like, okay, someone's going to be around the corner. Maybe there's some kind of reverse or inverted mind games of some sort being used. Anyway.
For all of Kilson's item control in this round, the scoreboard remains the same, and that rail hit is the almighty leveler.
Actually is. That's actually a significant shot landed there by Gelasek, and I don't know if he tried to get onto the armor.
Oh, wow, what a double rail from Kilson. And Gelasek had no idea where Kilson was, had a rail behind him, and then waiting for him as he came out the teleport. Beautiful play from Kilson.
And that is harder than it looks to land those 2 shots on a speedy moving Anarchy. Great predictions. Fantastic play there from Kilson, and it's good to see him finally bringing this to the match.
If I'm not wrong on Gelasek's jump, he also missed the armor going into that as well, which I think he will live to regret. We'd love to see a replay, but I don't think we will. And there's the next rail coming in. It's Gelasek down onto Kilson this time, and Kilson has next to no health, or had next to no health, but Gelasek unable to finish off the job. Gelasek nicely stacked. This is his first opportunity in a while, and he's going to chase it out, and now is hounding down. Oh, just get strong.
I love the little backwards movement around the corner. Doesn't matter after he picks up the Mega Health, as that rail comes out and nullifies any of the benefits he would have received. But he needs to maybe press forward. Problem is he can't press forward as much as he would like to because that Acid Spit is not available. Sees the armor. I think they both do.
First rocket is Kilson's. Oh, if nothing else, Kilson pushed him well away from it.
And there's some, I'm sure, some anxiety there for Gelasek at the moment. We've got the Mega coming up. He does a rocket expecting Kilson to turn up, and fortunately for him, does not take another rail as he would have been on a critical level of health.
Galasak has been unable to make his item control count for anything. In fact, in this first round, Kilson picked up that one frag. Sorry, in round 4, Kilson picked up that one. I'm going to shut up. Here we go. Kilson doing a lot of damage. In the end, it was Galasak trying to get himself out of there, rockets into the wall, and takes himself down. And Kilson forces that, and we're up 2-0.
Yeah, that was just something going horribly wrong just then. He chanced his luck going onto that armor, and there was absolutely no point. Kilson knows it's up there. He knows that it's temptation for Galasak to go on, and obviously is just going to do as much damage as he can, which resulted in the kill at the end of the day.
Galasak is in real trouble here. Kilson a rocket and a rail, and Galasak has next to no health. And that will be that. And Kilson comes back with a vengeance. Galasak and Kilson tied up at a map apiece.
And you can see that Kilson is hitting so many more of his shots with his rail. You can see that he's being more patient, and all of a sudden it's Galasak feeling that he's got to make those desperate moves to get on the items and to make something happen in the game. I feel like the smaller space within Blood Run is actually hurting Galasak a lot more. Even though he picked Blood Run, it just seems to be completely the opposite to what works for his style.
I think that final round kind of like told us a lot. We had early rounds where it was just frantic. When you discount for frantic and you just get into a case where both players had moments of map control, Kilson used his better, and it was only at one moment where he used it better. He was up one frag for maybe 2-3 minutes, but that was all that mattered.
Yeah, completely. Going into Ruins now, I believe, was the last map. We're going to get something a bit more open, a lot more space to play with. You're probably going to be able to hide a little bit better. There are still only 2 armors on the map, spread between greater distances, but with the amount of hourglasses there are available, if you're using something like a Nyx or any champion really, especially Anarchy that he's using so much with the injection, you're going to be able to get that cooldown working in time and probably re-engage even more frequently.
Do you feel that momentum has now left Galasak and is with Kilson going into this?
Definitely. Kilson was looking a lot more healthy in that last year. We're seeing Kilson on the Nyx and the Ranger, and he's going to be using Galena this time. We've got some teleporters to maybe be careful of as well, where you've always got to be careful. You've always got to double check that a totem's there, or just not use the teleporter at all when that champion's in use. And it's really an Anarchy player's biggest fear, and I can't emphasize that enough.
For your money, are you sticking with a European win?
Well, it's normal for me to get my predictions wrong, but I guess where I'm wrong is the 2-0. I think we're still going to see 2-1 now for Kilson. But, I mean, things go horribly wrong, and I've often cursed many people, so Kilson, I'm sorry in advance if it goes badly.
My read is that Kilson has come back stronger and has been able to get some warmth, get some ability. I feel like he must have been practicing all day, so there wouldn't have been much kind of need to warm up, but I think that is what has happened.
Yeah.
That being said, I think Galasak surprised him, and as you mentioned before we even started, Galasak was one of the players that Kilson called out that he didn't want to face.
That's it. And I think that's great that Galasak's able to really live up to that reputation that Kilson's almost given him. So let's see, though. There's definitely, it could go either way at this stage. Kilson's definitely going to be feeling the nerves as well a bit, because it's in those early parts of the group stages where the games matter so much, but you've not necessarily warmed into that sort of competitive spirit just yet. So on Kilson to begin with, he knows exactly where Galasak is, but can he land the shot that he's looking for? That's going to be a no. He'll back off from that.
Where's your competitive spirit, Zoot? Is it not warmed up yet?
My competitive spirit? My competitive spirit left me in the regionals.
On board with Galasak, who has armor in abundance as he goes looking for Kilson, who's right around the corner. First rocket landed, and in that one we were seeing Galasak land the second. Will he this time? He does land the second, but only for a 25, and he's just not connecting onto the German, who does escape.
I think he was maybe making some guesses at, would it be smart for me to push any further, or would I just walk into some rockets? There was possibly one rail that could have finished off Kilson, but I think he made a sensible, conservative decision just there to hold off on the first frag and wait for maybe a higher chance for it to happen.
And you see there, Kilson on the Mega Spawn, unable to see where, or had no idea when Galasak was there previous. Okay. And this is the difference between the maps. This is much more open, with the two players seeing a lot less of each other. And Galasak is going to go over and collect that. Sorry, it was Kilson who's going to go over and... No, Galasek is going to go over and collect that health.
And Kilson's also just been grabbing all the hourglasses, and there are 10 of them on this map. Each hourglass reducing the cooldown of your ability by 10%. So obviously percentage based, not second based, so whatever champion you are, you get the picture. And it counts for quite a lot, especially when you rely on those defensive mechanisms to play effectively. Now they're just waiting. It looks like Kilson just wants some information at the moment. Trying to wonder, okay, I know what he's doing. Can make my next action based on that information.
Thought you were about to tell me what he was doing. Lights are going off around us. This is the last match of the night, ladies and gentlemen. I hope they're going to leave the door open for us.
Yeah, please don't lock it.
Here we go. Kilson and his LG do some damage to Galasek, but neither player blessed with too much health, and Galasek in the end will get away with that Mega.
Where am I?
This could be nice. Good attack actually from Kilson, finding some LG damage, but I think only 2 7s landed just then. Galasek making a good decision, but that armor still not up for a couple of seconds time. Kilson, does he want to go close? Good retaliatory rocket from Galasek, pushing him away.
This player is cautious, and I think we won't see those frantic frags that we saw earlier on. I think Zoop has just seen why I was confused about the health earlier as well. And here we go. It will be Galasek to land a rocket onto Kilson there, and it will be another opportunity for Galasek to try and finish off the job. Can he do so? Oh, yes he can, with a with a straightforward rail at the end, and it'll be frag number 1 to the Canadian.
Very nice, picked him off with that rail shot. Difficult to do. Now, is there a totem around the corner? There is, but the gauntlet's coming out from Kilson. That totem's got down with all the rocket damage, and that's going to be 1 more frag for Galasek.
Yeah, interesting play there. Walk me through what Kilson just did.
Not very good things. What he did, he just stayed there. I would recommend leaving, and that would increase your chances of survivability, or surviving exponentially. That's my deep technical breakdown of what happened.
I thought maybe there was something I missed. I drew the same conclusion.
Just slightly over-aggressive positioning at the end of the day. So I hope that Kilson's not going to be falling into the habits that we saw in the earlier maps and rounds. But 30 seconds left. Kilson might already be thinking about the next round. I don't know how he's going to be able to close the gap with an Anarchy in this space of time and force him to make a mistake. And Galasek's set up a tent here. He's happy to wait and see if Kilson's going to show himself at all. And with 10 seconds to go. Oh, he's found him. Is there enough time? Alright.
You've squeezed yourself enough.
If Kilson does something in these seconds, that would be absolutely remarkable. But the spawn was actually delayed as much as possible in the end. So I think there were 2 seconds left in the game for anything to have happened. He picked the most tanky champion possible as well. So just to reduce any chances of Kilson doing something absolutely insane off the spawn.
Galasek 1 to the good. Here against Kilson in the final map.
Kilson fans, are you sweating right now? Because Galasek is playing an excellent duel game at the moment. Kilson, I mean, his last online result was beating Cypher in a winner bracket final. Going from that to something that could dent his chances of making it out the groups here at the Quake World Championships, that would be something special. And not necessarily in a good way for him.
On board with Kilson now as he has eyes on Galasek, but can't do anything about it. Galasek has the health, Kilson has the armor, and a rocket does Kilson have as well as it's fired toward him.
Kilson's playing a lot more scared now as well. He's not imposing himself on the map the same way as before. See if he gets the rockets, maybe that could change things a little bit more, and he should be grabbing them any second now. 10 seconds until each bigger item are up. I would imagine that we're going to see them take their own items, but Kilson seems to, in this position, force himself. Alright, this could go badly. The rail doesn't come in time. He gets the Mega, forces that Ghost Walk. And he's going to be able to grab himself both items, so Gelisak losing out a lot there just because he had that positioning over at the lower teleporter.
That was a great exchange from Kilson there.
It worked out nice, even though he took that damage and he used the Ghost Walk. It was absolutely brilliant for him. Straight away, getting as many hourglasses as possible. I think maybe that was Sense just then. Oh, I don't think he did see the Ghost Walk used. Now Kilson retains control of that mega health.
Yeah, here we go now with his LG. Can he back it up and finish off Gelisak? You bet he can. And that is a frag to the good for Kilson here.
Back and forth in these rounds. Got a tanky Sorlak to deal with at the moment. That Acid Spit is not going to be doing much work at all. And honestly, if I'm Kilson at this stage, you've gotten Sorlak so low. Just go and finish the kill. There's no Acid Spit to be worried about. He's just not able to really find where on earth he's gone to.
Yeah, I think that's a problem more than less than knowing it. He saw just how much that LG did. He saw a leg. Can he finish off? On to Gelisak, who has no armor. Here's the jump pad. Can he finish off the kill? Oh, Rocket will do 72 points of health. This should be it. One hit needed with the LG. And that'll be Gelisak down and Kilson a kill away from round 2. Oh. Reverse rail. Gelisak in all sorts of trouble.
That rail, I could see that one landing again, but it couldn't quite find enough of the pixel to hit it. Here comes the chase, surely. And with that lightning gun, he's going to Ghost Walk. I think he maybe expected the fact to happen already, but he'll get it anyway. He's just playing with his food at that stage, and that's going to be 1-1.
Nice play from Kilson there. He looked in complete control.
Yeah, that was good. Landed some great important shots as well. And setting up nicely for the last potential 3 rounds that we've got available to us. But it's closing it. I'm already thinking that maybe we'll get to 2-2. And really, that would be where the duel starts.
You're looking for a nice, exciting finish.
I like that. You know what? You've got to finish this with fireworks, don't you?
Gelisak, no matter what, has given us a very good account of himself. He's shown that his natural kind of technical ability that came through from the CPM days is still ever present.
Yeah, I'm loving watching his Anarchy at the moment as well. He's been doing a couple of things that Vu likes to do on stream as well. Some backwards air control. It's always a stream favorite in my opinion, or maybe it's just my favorite. It just makes things tingle for me. Not really able to find each other too much at the moment. They're hearing each other, but they really want to go close at this stage. We've got the Mega. Is Gelisak going to try and pressure the armor? Interesting trap, but actually does nothing for Kilson in the end. Can barely hit anything, did 19 damage. Ghost Walk's being used. Gelisak's going to make it, but there's a pummel that comes out. That's actually a significant amount of damage that he's done. But both players walk away from the fight.
Yeah, with almost the same health as they go into it now. Double rocket hit. One more to finish off the job. Can Gelisak take the life of Kilson? Kilson somehow still alive! And in the end, a reverse rocket does do enough damage to warn Gelisak away. Had he chased down, there would have been a second waiting for him. And Gelisak making the smart decision not to pursue. He took the Mega, and now from a position of power, he's going to try and chase out with that armor as well. Can he find a very, very wounded Kilson?
Now, what's a massive shame for Gelisak is that he went up against the Nyx with no Ghost Walk at all. Now, Kilson has the Ghost Walk, so that escape, he's going to have to force that. This is a horrible position for Kilson to have, though. LG versus LG. How's Gelisak hitting?
He wasn't. Kilson had the look on him to begin with. And all of Gelisak's advantage just wiped away.
Yeah, he took too long to have the right weapon. Now he's going to move into this. Surely force out the Ghost Walk. There we go. Finds the armor. Kilson, he is absolutely legged it from this. Armor's up. Surely you can hear him. Maybe he's assuming that the big item has been taken already, but at the same time it sounds like Kilson's assumed that he's going to take it. Alright, let's just forget about lower armor. It's fine. You don't need heavy armor. Spotted him. Oh, that's a huge rail from Kilson.
That changes everything in that exchange. And now Kilson drops down, drops a few nails with him as he goes down. Gelisak with almost nothing, and Kilson has the armor once more. And the advantage for frag number 1 in this is swung back in the Germans' favor here as Gelisak looking to get some armor to bring to the party.
I like the way we're seeing it. Both players, neither player wants to be down around when it's match point. So much going into this round, so much focus from the two of them. We've been seeing primarily Gelasak Cam at the moment. Direct rocket just landed, but he was available and just did not want to hang around for more than just that single rocket he had fired. Couldn't finish the job.
And I think that's smart. The risk was high to him because he had no armor either. And Kilson now does have armor and has picked up health. Gelasak without the armor and is invulnerable here as he pushes through. Kilson escapes. Gelasak didn't hit him with the rocket and now will be on the run. Gelasak with Mega, no armor, and Kilson with health and plenty of armor.
Absolutely mental from these. We're seeing some very good reactionary play though from Gelasak. Oh, he's going to find him with the rockets, only landing at 2 damage. 1, then he gets a little more. He has got the injection, but he's just in no man's land at the moment. And what is Kilson doing? Eventually finishes off the job with the rockets, and we have got 50 seconds. Gelasak with Sorlag. What can he do?
Gelasak just caught with the wrong weapons in the wrong terrain there. And now let's see whether he can get himself back into this, because Kilson is looking good. Well, to be fair to Kilson, he also went into that with, Gelasak could have done better and he had the right weapons. Anyway, here we go. It's going to be Kilson with the opportunity to finish off the job. Oh, drops the rail on his head. Gelasak in so much trouble, but is railing his way out of it and forces Kilson to escape. They're both 1 rail away from death. And now they are both running their way from each other.
Gelasak's actually given himself a very small chance in these last 10 seconds. You might think not with the amount of health he has, but he lands 1 rail. How much more can he land? LG coming out. Oh, he can't quite make it.
He had to chase, look at the clock.
Yeah, completely. And you know what? He almost made it as well, which is remarkable enough in itself. We are on match point though for Kilson. Gelasak, what have you got left in the tank?
Tense stuff there. You definitely would have felt Gelasak had a chance. He was right in that. And now we go down to match point number 1 in favor of Kilson. And that shotgun hit from Gelasak, he'll drop. He'll get the second one as well. Nice play from Gelasak. He is... He in the end escapes and forced a whole world of damage onto Kilson. Kilson's got the armor though, and let's see what he can do. They're going to drop on top of each other. Kilson's going to get the first look at him. Rail can't follow up. Kilson escapes.
Very, very close there actually for Gelasak. He's playing with fire at the moment with his positions and walking through where Kilson is, even though he was ghost walked at the time. The armor spawning in a moment. Maybe we'll see an exchange on the items, which is something that Gelasak will probably welcome in open arms. Reset really the stack sizes to equality.
Face each other now. Rockets waiting for Gelasak to came around that corner.
Wow.
And Kilson downs him.
You've got your prime champion just there. He's gone. You're going versus match point. 2 rails are landed on you. Kilson right now, he is going for the heroics, but Gelasak's made a good counterplay and moved out of line of sight.
Kilson smells blood.
Yeah, he's going to get everything. He's going to get 2 big items at the moment. Gelasak has just swapped places and nothing. Gelasak doesn't do anything at all with that asset. He's got 1 champion left and he's possibly going to drop this match otherwise.
Here we go, Kilson with the opportunity to win as Gelasak does land some damage on him, but Kilson knows he can take his time. He has 2 frags in his pocket to play with, and he will wait out the perfect moment to finish off the Canadian.
Is he going to try and do something with his dire orb or get onto the arm? The rail misses, and that is a saving grace there for Gelasak, getting himself onto that. He's got 3 minutes of which to work with, where anything is possible right now.
Rockets coming in now as he's waiting for Kilson. Jumps around the corner with the rail. They had to hit it, and Kilson will escape. Kilson doesn't have much else to play with. He's going to chase out this. Does he? No.
I can't believe that Kilson actually made all those plays without using Ghost Walk at the time. In fact, he's just used Ghost Walk now. The arm is up in a second. Is Gelasak going to try and drop for this, or is he going to try and make another interesting read? I don't know if he just heard the armor getting taken. This is going to be very interesting if he has. And I think Gelasak's missed out on a chance to make it back into this. His health was looking good. His armor was, I guess it was fine. And 10 seconds until Kilson has got Ghost Walk up once more.
Mega collected by Gelasek, and Kilson now is the focus of his attention. The clock has 2 minutes left on it for Gelasek. His time in this match.
He's just forgotten that armor's up or something.
Oh, that was his moment. Right between the crosshairs was Kilson, and he escapes. Now will he get him another again? I think Kilson may have line of sight on him, and does. There's the rail one. Can he find a shot with anything more? Both miss the next shot.
That was a good prepared dialogue just on the rail though from Kilson. How are you going to survive? He's trying to dodge, but he's not going to make it. Kilson cleans up, makes it 3-1 here on the last map, and that is him going to be winning this group match.
Well, a great game, and Gelasek providing us fantastic entertainment, but in the end, it is Kilson who comes out on top, as you called, and I think Kilson, after DM6, just got stronger and stronger and stronger.
No, completely, but you know what, during that last game, there was a point where I was thinking, actually, Gelasek could do this, and there is definitely a chance for him to get through and win a really, really big match here at Quake World Championship, but fortunately for him, Kilson was looking good. He regained his confidence and was controlling the map the way he was probably expecting himself to control the series from the get-go.
How far do you think Kilson could go in this tournament?
Well, my prediction is going to stay what it has been for the last few days, I think. I expect him to make top 4. I expect him to make top 4 alongside Avec, Cooler, and I'm really trying to weigh things up at the moment, but I'm going to put Strengths as my 4th. Note, there is no Rafa there, and that's the person Strengths and Rafa, I'm struggling which way to place them at the moment, but...
I admire your boldness, because we don't know what happened in the Rafa game.
I actually have no idea. I'm dying to know right now.
All we know is that it's over. Can the guy in our ear tell us what happened?
Anything, please? Anything?
Guy in our ear is saying CZM1.
CZM?
Well, that is it from us at Quakecon. Day 1, we have 2 more to come your way. We hope we've whet your appetite. So your final thoughts.
Awesome day 1. Sacrifice has been absolutely brilliant. Unlucky Maestro, it's unfortunate, but we have got Team Liquid first Saturday games, and we have got a hell of a lot of duels to enjoy. You've only seen the very beginnings of it, so I guess too much. There's so much to look forward to here at the Quake World Championships.
Well, from Zoot and from Tosspot, thank you very much. Good night.
You take a top-line product, and the price to performance value there is just amazing.
With 240 Hz and FreeSync on, it felt like I was in the game again.
You should choose Vega if you want to make sure that your games are being played the way they were meant to be.
Turn up all your quality settings. Get a glass with FreeSync. And the best GPU to drive that is Vega. That's it. That's the simple answer.
The biggest Quakecon ever. $1 million is on the line. Who will take it home?
When I think of Quakecon, I think of the adrenaline.
Let's go! Great work with the LG so far. He's got him on the ropes, and now he moves in to try and steal. Nice rocket jump.
Look at this trap. Oh, it's a quick double take.
If we play our game, there is no team that is going to beat us.
If you play us, you will lose.
Intercepted midair just as it was about to go inside of the obelisk.
Who's going to win this round? This is just crazy.
It's somehow ID is still alive right now. 99% now. This is it for Totem Tellies. It's another Telefrag, and with that, Totem Tellies are going to QuakeCon.